pledge allegiance. Allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, welcome everybody. We have a lot of people tonight. That's great. Just a couple of things. The purpose of this business meeting is to do business. So we're not going to discuss truck tires or lots of other stuff that we normally discuss at meetings. We're going to do that kind of discussion at our work session meetings, first Wednesday of every month. Tonight we're going to take care of some very specific business, some resolutions, some motions, and so forth, as well as hear some of our officer reports. Please keep your comments respectful of each other. If you feel like you need to swear, sometimes that is appropriate. Just remember, Grandma might be hearing you because we're recording tonight here. If you have trouble hearing anything that's happening up here at the table, please speak up. I know that sometimes is an issue for us. Right, Nora? Okay. We're going to use the projector tonight, and it's going to be on that back corner over there. So those of you sitting there, you're going to have to make do. Right? Please feel free to move around the cabin. Okay. Alrighty. Roll call.
We doing the oath of office first.
Yeah, we should do the oath of office.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. We're going to, the mayor's going to deliver an oath of office to John
Mack. Yep.
Wait a minute. I think of my legs under here.
Okay.
I, John McAdoo,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support,
that I will support,
obey, and defend
obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and that I will discharge the duties of my office
and I will discharge the duties of my office
with fidelity.
with fidelity.
Congratulations.
Thank
You're in again.
Welcome, John.
you. Fidelity.
Okay. Normally we review and approve our minutes from previous meetings, but we are a little backlogged on our minutes, which sometimes happens, so I'd like to entertain a motion to take up those minutes, approve those in February, give us a chance to read those minutes, so we're better prepared. So anyone like to make that motion?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Okay. Any objections? Okay. All right, for tonight's agenda, we do have a few changes here. A few changes to the order I'd like to make, but we are going to add a motion to consider the West Mayfield parking lot proposal. This will most likely be tabled tonight and taken up next month because this is the first we're seeing this. We'd like to get it on the agenda. This also has an agreement attached to it, so we'd like to give our solicitor a chance to review this as well. But I'd like to add this to under new business. A motion regarding the West Mayfield parking lot proposal from the fire department. And I have handouts for everybody when we get down to that. Okay. Is there anything else to add to the agenda? Okay. The two changes in order I'd like to make. I'd like to, after we do this, before our officer report, I'd like to hear a presentation from our stamp consultants, or as George calls it, Stump back there. That's one or the other. So you all were here in November last to talk about our finances, and tonight it's part 3 of the process of reviewing some of our operations here. So then we'll put the projector on there. And then before that though, I would like to just give Jason Heaton a chance to tell us a little bit about this program. This is in lieu of the citizens' comment section here. So,
Did you want to do a roll call?
oh, did we do a roll call?
We need to
I'm
do it.
sorry.
That's okay. I just didn't want to go off.
Oh, just got it. Yeah, roll call, please.
Miss Sue Wood.
Here.
Okay, Mr. Kevin Farkas.
Here.
Mr. Bob Tate.
Here.
Mr. Justin Woodrick.
Here.
Mr. John McAdoo.
Here.
Mayor.
Here.
Solicitor.
Here.
Okay, and we are missing Bob Cade, but he is excused.
Okay, we have quorum. Okay. Okay, Jason, like to hear it from you?
Hello, my name is Jason Eaton. I'm here representing the fire department. What we're basically trying to do is get a kind of a contract between the fire department and the borough for use of the lot and give you guys access to the signs, so this way you guys can put, you can let us know, we can put stuff like events up on the sign. If you guys want to wish somebody a happy birthday on the sign, but within reason, and not like every day send something. But I detailed it out here in this little proposal. It'll give the community a little better, more insight to see what's also happening in the borough. So if you guys have something coming up, like the trunk or treat or any events you guys might be having, we can put it up on the sign. But we would like to have at least a week's notice prior to the dates. This way we can actually get it on the sign, make sure it stays up there for a week. It's not much that they're asking for. The only thing is, as Joe's will probably see, we'll make sure that the parking lot's clear of vehicles after the events. And if there's any vehicles left over, we'll make sure that we have the owner's information, emergency contact in case something happens to them, they had to leave. They will not be storing any vehicles, trailers, or extra large vehicles back there. Mine is the one that's already there, the storage container that's already been approved. They will go through and clear out all the debris and the trash, as well as maintain the grass, the weeds, and stuff like that. And any dates that they will need the parking lot, they will actually notify council of what dates and what times. The only thing we're asking from the borough is to basically let us know if there's any dates that they won't be available for parking lot. 7 days notice for any sign use. And basically take care of the snow and the gravel maintenance of the parking lot.
Okay. One question for you. What is the entity now called?
Right now, it's still called the West Maple Volunteer Fire Department.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. All right.
I have a question. Michael said there was like gonna be 3 days a month. It would be 2 bingos and 1 fundraiser.
That has not been fully.
So it's really
determined
not,
yet. Yes.
okay, so really you don't have anything finalized.
But this also goes in effect for like any hall rentals. We want to make sure we cover those assets. And I already got one question from Kevin about for insurance, so I got to take it back to them and talk to them about that.
All right. Okay.
Okay, thank you. We've added this motion to the last item under new business here. So we'll take this up. I have some handouts for everybody for that. We'll take that up when we get down to there. All righty. So let's move on to our presentation. Let me turn the projector on for you.
Can you see okay?
Mine away.
Let's see here. There we go.
Kind of have to turn the lights off. So we can see it. It needs to be moved over a little bit. No.
Do you want a light on?
You have to turn that one. That's wrong.
That's good.
Perfect.
This is ours. Okay, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you. So we are back. It is good to be with all of you again. In case you've forgotten or you weren't here the first time, the three of us are graduate students at the University of Pittsburgh. My name's Jackson.
I'm Graham.
And I'm Lauren.
And we're here with our advisors, George Doherty, Dana O'Connor, and we're working in conjunction with George Newsom and the Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development and their Strategic Management and Planning Program. So when we were back here in November, we reported on our financial condition assessment for the borough and the financial trend analysis. And today is the sort of second half of the program. It's the management audit and review, and then the plan adoption and the implementation plan after that. Next slide, please. So thinking back to November, some of these key findings of our financial review, we noted that over the 5-year study period, which was 2020 through 2024, our revenues increasing by 2.9% annually. And we noted that operating expenditures increased by about 5.8% annually, noting that a lot of that was attributable to a large engineering expense in one of those recent years. We noted some warning signs in revenues per capita, in real estate tax, a small one in the earned income tax, and then one of the liquid fuels fund, which just means those revenues are not trending the way we want them to be. Of course, the liquid fuels fund, mostly controlled by the state, that's not entirely within your control. Moving on to the next slide. In expenditures, we noted warning signs, similar warning signs in expenditures per capita, and then in general government expenditures, we saw those expenses increasing. And we also noted that the borough's unreserved fund balance was decreasing over that 5-year period at a rather unsustainable rate. We talked about the sewer fund, and we noted that it was solvent, it is running surpluses, it was during that period, but that they were decreasing nominally. And then with our projections, we did forecast that the borough will have increasing operating deficits through 2029. It was somewhere roughly to the tune of $20,000 a year is what we noted. And that brings us to today, which is the management audit and review. So we all focused on 3 primary areas of operation. That's administration and operations, number 1, public works, number 2, and then community and economic development, number 3. I'm going to start us off with administration and operations. So some key findings here from our interviews that we did with you all. Administration and operations in West Mayfield, it's not a department, it's one person, it's Jenna, it's the secretary treasurer. And she handles all the administrative tasks. That includes everything listed there, paying bills, bookkeeping, doing accounts payable, monthly and annual financial reporting, and handling any right-to-know requests. And that's a lot of tasks for one person doing one job. It's even more when it's a person who has another full-time job on top of doing all of this. That's something to keep in mind. And then we also noted that when financial reporting is done, budget to actual accounting is not currently used. We do recognize that you have standard operating guidelines that are being formulated with regard to finance and things. We think that's good, and that can help in that regard. And moving on here, a few last key findings. We noted that the borough last codified its ordinances in 1976. That's according to the website. Ideally, this should be an ongoing process, so things are continually updated as they are passed. And then we noted specifically in administration and operations, there's a lack of written job description for the secretary treasurer's position or any personnel policies. Again, it's just one job here, and my other colleagues will talk about the other sections, but with regard to administration and operations, that stands there. Now, based on those findings, we have some recommendations to provide. So I'm going to touch on and briefly explain each of these, but do know that there are going to be more fleshed out information in the reports that will follow. So first of all, we recommend that you segregate the financial duties. This is especially important when things like cash are handled, any cash payments coming in. And so an ideal financial process should look something like this. So the secretary treasurer would collect any funds, write any receipts that are necessary. Then a different individual would come in to verify and prepare the deposits. That includes things like writing deposit slips, verifying fund sources, and then the secretary treasurer can come back in and do the final bookkeeping. That's just an example of how the process can go. The important thing to note there is that we want to have a second set of eyes, at least one pair of eyes, on all the finances. That provides legal protection, and just in case any mistake is made or anything otherwise goes awry, you have multiple people who know what's going on. Next here, we have sort of an either or, which is we recommend that you either outsource the bookkeeping or provide formal QuickBooks training, which is the financial software that you use here, to the secretary treasurer. And by saying this, we're not trying to imply that Jenna needs training because she's doing the job poorly. We're just saying that this is an opportunity that could be funded by the state, and it is worth taking advantage of either way. Some QuickBooks trainings are actually free. And if you were to choose the outsourcing option there are companies that do it professionally, and we estimate that it would cost somewhere in the ballpark of $5,000 to $10,000 a year. But again, more on that in the report with concrete stuff. A couple more recommendations here. We recommend that you standardize the monthly financial reports and include budget to actual accounting. Again, we understand that these standard operating guidelines are being crafted. And then with regard to the budget there, we say that you should formalize the annual budget process using best practices. We do acknowledge that, I think you had mentioned sort of the 2026 budget was the first one that was used, or that was formulated with best practices. We think that's great. Continue to do that. And for budget to actual accounting specifically, it's just going to help you as budget season nears each year. It can alert you if something is going awry. You know, if a particular tax source is not bringing in as much money each month of the year as you'd expected, you can take action earlier rather than having to deal with it at the end of the year when a budget needs to be passed. Moving on here, we recommend that, again, for administration and operations specifically, you generate a job description and personnel policies. Again, that's currently just for the secretary-treasurer role. And we think this is still worthwhile because if there's ever an instance where you have a secretary-treasurer who's been on the job for a long time, they built up a lot of knowledge, but they're going to leave, they're going to retire, something like that, and for whatever reason, they're not able to train a replacement, teach that replacement, it can cause some confusion and some sort of some friction as the person takes the job. And so having these things written down, you know, day-to-day work and expectations is wise, and that's why we recommend that there. And then lastly, and arguably most importantly, is we recommend that you develop and adopt financial policies. The point of these is to be able to make tough decisions far in advance. And financial policies, that's sort of an umbrella term, and what I mean by that is things like if you have to schedule vehicle replacements for public works, things like that, you want to have a plan ahead of time. You want to create policies to determine when it's appropriate to use debt, for example. And then just general capital planning. I know we had discussed starting a capital program. That falls under the financial policy umbrella. Another thing to note is that especially as the borough is set to receive some influxes of cash from different areas, it's very important to have financial policies in place so that you can ensure the financial stability of the borough long into the future. And again, we're going to include some sample policies in the report so you can see exactly what we're talking about, have sort of a blueprint for those things. Lastly, on the next slide here, so this is an example of some of the due diligence that could go into financial planning. With regard to the cell tower specifically, I'm aware that the deal is pretty much said and done, but I think that this analysis is a good way to sort of visualize the thinking that goes into making a decision like that. And so it can act as a template if a similar thing comes up in the future. What I did here is you can see on the left side, these are sort of projections if you were to retain the current structure, which is receiving rent payments for the cell tower. And so I took the previous rent payments from those municipal budgets through 2020, from 2020 up through this year. I noted that there's an average annual increase of just under 3% each year. And I don't know that that's the actual contracted number, but that's the trend I was seeing. That's why that number is there. And so I projected that out over the next, or through 2030 to see what you would expect if that structure remains the same. In revenues. The thing to consider there is that you don't have any cash principal. It's a very illiquid asset, receiving those payments in rent. And those aren't really guaranteed. The increases aren't a guarantee. You never know, something crazy could happen in the telecom market and you stop getting money. On the other side, it is the projections if you were to sell, which it looks like that's going to happen. So you'll have a cash total there. And as far as I understood, at least the short-term plan was to take the lump sum and invest it into a Pliget fund. And if anybody's unfamiliar, that's the Pennsylvania Local Government Investment Trust. It essentially allows local governments to invest in what is basically a money market fund. It's just, they buy government debt and then offer an interest rate. And so as of earlier this week, there are a couple of different, types of accounts that they offer, and the interest rates vary slightly. And those are yields that change frequently and have actually gone down since I made this earlier this week. That's something to keep in mind. But the bottom, or the bottom right box there is talking about the projected earnings at these different various interest rate levels. So if you were to take the money from the cell tower, fully invest it, that's what you could expect in interest returns, with the assumption that you'd be using that to supplement the now missing rent money every year. And the considerations there is that you'd have a very large cash principal that is highly liquid, even in the Pliget Fund, it's quite liquid. And also that those returns, like I said, they vary, they're not guaranteed. We know that the Federal Reserve has been lowering interest rates. If that continues, those rates will continue to fall. So that's something to keep in mind. And I want to cover my bases here. I did also notice that in the 2026 municipal budget, as it's listed there, you have accounted for the rental income from the cell tower. And something to keep in mind, I'm not sure exactly how that deal is going to go, as far as if you would no longer receive that $18,000. And if that's the case, you can cover it, with part of the lump sum, but that is not something you want to make a habit of in the long term. The point of investment there would be to sort of park it in the fund, protect it against inflation while you're deciding what to do with it, whether it's capital programming, longer term plans. But that is sort of, again, an idea of what can be done there. Now, that is it for my section. I'm going to hand it off to Graham for Public Works.
So after doing some interviews, here are key findings in the public works sector. So Public Works Department in the borough consists of 2 employees, 1 full-time, 1 part-time. Their responsibilities include maintaining all streets, filling potholes, maintaining street signs, painting signs, plowing streets, maintaining alleyways, parking lots, cutting grass, and maintaining buildings in the community. So the department owns and operates several vehicles, and we discussed including 1 skid steer, 1 backhoe, 2 dump trucks, 1 pickup truck, 1 wood chipper, 2 large lawnmowers, and multiple large generators. All equipment is from 2007 or older, and 1 of the dump trucks was recently purchased in 2019. So some major issues that we were looking at include older roads and intrusive water and pipes in the community. And many solutions we found to public works issues are reactive, and we thought it would be beneficial to document plans for future public works employees. And we also noticed the borough really prides itself upon its park, and however, there's no formal park space maintenance plan. So some recommendations that we have. First, we have a road maintenance plan. In the interview with the head of Public Works, it was stated that there's no formal road maintenance plan. It was stated that issues like potholes are handled whenever they're discovered. It would be in the borough's best interest to develop a road maintenance plan and complete a comprehensive survey of road conditions throughout the borough. The current maintenance plan is indicative of a worst first approach to maintenance planning, and a maintenance plan would allow the borough to forecast maintenance costs and optimize maintenance planning beyond a 1-year time frame, possibly reducing road maintenance costs in the long run. It is recommended the borough conduct a physical assessment of all roads and alleys and storm drains for safety and usage annually. It is likely that the DCD can help pay for it as being part of the road maintenance plan. We also discussed, as part of this plan, a price comparison could be conducted between tarring and chipping and using gravel to fix roads. In our interview, it was noted that a lot of roads, even though they've recently been fixed, have been falling apart. And we noticed that gravel was previously used as a cheaper option. However, based on the price comparison, it could be determined that it would be in the borough's best interest to begin tarring and chipping to ensure longer road maintenance. So next, we discussed a formal snow removal plan. In the interview, it was stated that there's no official snow removal plan. It would be in the borough's best interest to develop a snow removal plan for the future. In the case of new public works employees or new members of council, it would be a good idea to have a prepared plan for snow removal in the case of heavy snowfall in the borough. And then next, super important, was a sewer improvement plan. In the interview, it was noted there's a large amount of fresh water in the borough's sewer pipe systems, and we believe it would be in the council's best interest to budget and plan a replacement fund for these pipes. Money can be used from the capital budget, but the council would need to develop a plan. We believe in the long run this would save the borough money by replacing the pipes. Next is, as we said, a park maintenance plan. The borough prides itself upon the park it has. And as of now, there's no formal space maintenance order. Similar to the snow removal plan, there's no set procedure. We believe to prepare for the future of new employees and leadership, it would be in the borough's best interest to develop a regular maintenance plan to ensure the park is maintained and can be enjoyed for years to come. As Jackson stated, there's a capital plan that can be used to assist in building the park maintenance plan. Next, we discussed a safety training program, and we thought it would be a great idea to establish a formal safety training group and information sessions ensuring council members and employees understanding of proper procedures and policies. And a safety training program would also provide additional protection and legal liability for council members. Next, we discussed equipment. Most of the equipment is from 2007 or older. One of the dump trucks was purchased in 2019, but we believe it would be in the borough's best interest to develop a 5-year plan with prioritization of anticipated capital improvements and purchase of new equipment. The borough should consider requesting technical assistance funding to hire a consultant to assist with developing an equipment replacement plan that can be included within the capital plan. Finally, we mentioned this in our previous meeting, but engaging in a intergovernmental cooperation. Municipalities engage in intergovernmental cooperation in many ways and for various reasons. Cooperation can range from sharing or loaning a piece of equipment to a neighbor municipality to joint purchasing agreements and participation in council of government or COG and service sharing arrangements. The primary reason for engaging in cooperation with other nearby municipalities are efficiency and cost savings. At West Mayfield, we thought should investigate opportunities to engage with nearby municipalities in efforts to share costs and services and support regional economic development initiatives. Further information can be found in the DCED handbook to help make these decisions. I'd like to pass off the next part of the presentation to my colleague, Laura.
Hello, so I did the interview for Community and Economic Development, and what we found is that you all really felt that roads, sewage, and community space projects were some of your top grant funding priorities, and that you had past challenges obtaining grants in the past. As Grant talked about, intergovernmental cooperation is important, but we did talk to you all and learn that you were former members of the COG, and you didn't feel like there were any measurable benefits that you could really justify paying the fee to continue to be a part of that group. We also learned that you desire for more strategic rather than reactive approaches. We also talked about how there are a lot of new members on council and some people are new to government and might need training or better understanding of the responsibilities and expectations of them as officials in the government. And we also, as Jackson talked about, learned about the cell tower and how you all wanted to use that as an opportunity for investment. And we also talked about how zoning maps have been a bit inconsistent within some places, and that we found that zoning and code enforcement are strong, but you guys are looking for updates and looking to more formalize those processes in the future. So some of our recommendations for these, and some of them are similar to Graham and Jackson's, but first, utilize technical assistance. DCED is going to be a gold mine for you all for technical assistance, so I highly suggest that you take advantage of that where you can. One instance of that could be project design funding. As we were talking in our interview, you talked about maybe doing a community center or doing something like an amphitheater to have more community involvement in community space. While they can't fund the actual building of the space, they can fund designing and looking at what do community members want, what is the best venue for the space that you're looking at. And they can kind of help you come up with a plan of what does that look like, looking for funding, things of that sort. We also think it would be helpful to have past grant review. You guys talked to us about how you felt when you applied for grants in the past, that you were overlooked because you were a smaller government and you weren't really sure what happened with the grant applications. Something that I feel would be really useful is for you all to look at the past grants and the people at the DCED understand the landscape and the competitive nature of these grants, and they can kind of pinpoint what may have been the reason why your applications weren't picked, and if there are better grants that are more applicable to the borough that you can apply for to hopefully find some more success in the future. And they can also provide you with application assistance as well. Also, again, we're really suggesting that we codify the ordinances just to make sure they're still applicable to the borough and that they're able to be enforced when necessary. And as you guys have already done for the rental property ordinance, use example ordinances for best practices to make sure that you're kind of doing what other neighboring and peer governments are doing as well. We also suggest outsourcing or sharing code enforcement with nearby governments. We did talk to you all last time and you told us that you had a previous partnership with Chippewa Township. We think that something like that would be beneficial because it helps reduce the manpower of your council members or community members while also kind of shortening or lessening the cost burden for you all. Also, we suggest local government academy elected officials training. This is a very well-respected nonprofit in the Pittsburgh area, and they have a course that helps you learn everything that there is to know about local government. They did open registration on November 4th, and the first classes started in December. However, you may still be able to jump into the trainings because they do end in March. If not, they also provide single sessions sometimes, but you would have to reach out to them to discuss what you would need and if they have the capacity available to do that. They're also held on Saturdays, so you don't have to go during a work day, and there are scholarships available because it does cost, but there are scholarships available, and West Mayfield Borough is eligible for those scholarships, so that's something to keep in mind. Also, we talked about the Pennsylvania Local Government Investment Tool. This is a really good investment tool, especially for what you guys need. Local governments have a lot of laws and guidelines that they have to follow per the state, and so it can be hard to kind of navigate that, the territory of investment. And this tool was made specifically with local governments in mind. It's also endorsed by 7 statewide local government associations. So they've worked really closely with a lot of peer local governments to make sure that this investment tool gives you what you need and also follows all those guidelines. It's also a very well respected tool. S&P, which is a credit rating organization, has rated Liggett as a AAA rating, which is one of the highest ratings that you can have, meaning that it has a very good possibility of maintaining your principal and giving you a good return. Also, we think that we want you to update the zoning ordinances, but we also want to talk about comprehensive planning. We talked about how you all have done really well for yourselves in the past few years, and you really want to look forward into those next 20 years to make sure that you're sustaining the success in the borough. And so we believe that doing a comprehensive plan can help you guys lay the groundwork to continue that thought process, but actually formalize it. So next, we've given you a lot of recommendations and a lot of information. So we don't want these things to sit on the shelf, and we want to talk specifically about implementation and how DCED can help you implement all the things that we've discussed. We do recommend that the following be adopted either by ordinance or resolution within the next several months.
By motion.
By
I
motion.
got corrected last night, but it is by motion.
Okay. To make sure that this process is being moved forward in a timely manner. So first, these are the key components of the implementation plan. There needs to be an implementation manager. This person should be someone high-ranking in the government and have an abundance of administrative and managerial experience so that they can be the best leader to keep this process moving and also communicate with the DCED. The responsibilities of this manager are going to be quarterly reports, making sure those are done, and also the annual reports as well. It's really important to make sure that you're communicating not only with the DCED, but also the stakeholders in the community. And lastly, an establishment of an advisory group. There needs to be a group of community members that are advising how these recommendations are being implemented so that we can make sure community input is felt throughout these recommendations. I know that you all have a Citizens Advisory Committee here, and that might be a great resource to tap into for people who have already expressed an interest in government, but this is also an opportunity to find other community members as well who would be interested in helping you all along the implementation process. So these recommendations that I have listed here are specifically things that DCED can fund, because not everything that we suggested DCED is able to fund. We also broke it down into near-term, medium-term, and long-term priorities, and we have ranked them in the order of importance. So the first is QuickBook trainings for secretary or treasurer. As Jackson mentioned, you could also consider outsourcing as well, but this is something that can be done relatively quickly, and that is really important for you all. As Jackson said, there are certain reports that should be done and financial policies that could be put in place, and learning how to best utilize QuickBooks can make that a lot more automated for you guys. Also, the codification of ordinances, Again, we want to make sure that those are up to date, they're applicable, and they're enforceable, and that's something, again, that can be done pretty quickly. And technical assistance with grant applications. George Newsom here should be able to help you all, again, review those past grant applications and look for things that you can apply for in the future to hopefully get some more money flowing into the borough. Next are medium-term priorities. So these will be implementable in about 1 to 2 years. So 4 is assistance with plan preparation, specifically the sewer improvement plan, the road maintenance plan, and the park improvement and maintenance plan. Again, I want to stress that they will not be able to pay for the creation or the fixing of pipes or the tar and chipping of the roads or anything material, but they'll be able to help you kind of make a plan and figure out what actually needs to be in this plan, how can you enforce it, those important key components to get you up to that point. Also, the support for the community center design, like I mentioned before, they can help you with surveys, looking at what may be the best space in the area to actually put the thing that you're looking for, and whether you want to do a community center, amphitheater, liven up the park some more, to help you just think through how you want that to look. And lastly, for our long-term priorities, which are implementable in about 2 years or more, undertake a comprehensive plan with zoning updates. This again is something that the DCED can help you with, understanding what goes into a comprehensive plan, how long do you guys want to plan out for the future, and making sure that those zoning codes are up to date will also help make sure that this comprehensive plan will be applicable in the future. Are there any questions or comments, concerns?
This is such great information. This handout, these slides will be posted on our website, as the previous group of handouts was. So citizens will be able to see this. We'll be able to go back and look at this stuff, which I've done recently, and actually use some of your recommendations as a project that we're trying to wrap our heads around in terms of our municipal fees, how we're going to deal with inflation, which you all strongly reminded us is eating us alive. So this is such great information. It's become useful already for us. This new information will definitely be useful as we move forward. Just yesterday we had a very nice meeting with our independent auditor, who we talked about Jenna and QuickBooks quite a bit, and a lot of the stuff is on your slide there. So I think we're getting in sync.
That's great. You guys seem really ready to get into all of the things that we've suggested, so we're really excited about that. I also want to let you all know that after this meeting, we're going to be working on our report, and that will include a lot more in-depth explanation and some examples of things that may be pertinent or helpful to you. So I'm hoping that you'll find that as helpful as well.
Any other questions or comments for the group?
Yeah, so this is normally a great time for George Newsom to get up and talk and just say a couple of little rapid comments.
So happy New Year, everybody. First of all, and good evening to you all. See a lot of new faces at the table. That's great. So when you hear the acronym DCED, that's me. And you hear the word in the presentation, plan, a lot. That's also something that we really feel is very important to communities. You have to have a plan, and your plan is your plan is your vision. You know, you have to have a vision. And I often say in these presentations, the fun part of my job is to help you with your vision come to fruition. That keeps me motivated to do what I do with communities. So in short, we partner with communities to help them make their visions come to fruition, sometimes with funding, sometimes with technical assistance, sometimes just meeting with folks and going to lunch and talking about different ideas about things to do. It's not always money. Sometimes it's just talking about ideas and those kind of things, and best practices for those kind of situations. But first, these guys did a great presentation. Can we give them a hand for their presentation? These are future mayors and council people, I'm sure. So that was awesome. So once, and they spoke to it, once the final report is completed, you guys will make a motion, and you'll pass it by motion. And after that, I become more involved with the community, helping you to, which they already did, prioritize some of the recommendations that are in the final report. And I always say this to my communities: recommendations create projects, and projects create funding. I'll say that again. Recommendations create projects, and projects create funding. It doesn't work the other way around. And the only way you get recommendations is you have to have a plan. So this is your plan. In your plan you have recommendations. Recommendations will create projects, and projects will create funding. You already have a contract with the state for implementable projects at a 90-10%. Contract implementation. In other words, the state will pay 90% of the projects that are fundable, and you will pay 10% of the projects that are fundable. Kevin, you are now the president of council?
Yes.
Okay, congratulations. When I first met you, you were CAC, right? Okay, all right, awesome. So I will have a point of contact person. I'm not sure who that will be yet. Will it be you? I think it will be. Okay, all right, great. Okay, so I'll have a point of contact person that I work with the borough and all those kind of documents, forms, applications, and so forth to get you through the next level, get you through the next steps, and get you through the recommendations and projects and funding processes. This is the completion of this is called phase 1 of the plan. After phase 1 is phase 2. Phase 2 consists of whatever specific recommendations you want to go after and get funding for. In each subsequent phase after this, the dollar amounts usually range somewhere between $40,000 to $200,000 for what is fundable. Once again, that will remain a 90%, 10% contract throughout the time that we're with you. And I believe from the time you make a motion and accept the final plan, you have me for the next 5 years, working with you on various funding opportunities and recommendations, those sort of things. I do have cards tonight, because I sometimes forget my cards, because I usually bring the wrong jacket. But I do have cards tonight. We not only are we open to answering questions from council, but we're open to answer questions from residents as well. So if you guys ever want to contact me, I'm just a phone call away, or you contact me by way of email, and I'm usually readily accessible to address any questions and or concerns that you might have from this point on concerning STAMP, or Strategic Management Planning Program, also known as STAMP. The government loves talking in acronyms. Sometimes I have no idea what they're talking about. And that's me. That's what we do. Any questions for me you have? Concerns, comments?
Thank you for all the help that you've given us so far, steering us in the right direction here. We very much appreciate it, George.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Okay. Now, I know you guys seriously don't want to stay for the rest of the meeting.
Get some coffee.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, I'm good.
I mean, you're welcome to stay. If you want to leave, it's up to you.
I do think we'll head back with the
Okay.
snow coming in. But thank you.
Thanks again.
I appreciate it. Yeah, we'll have the reports and all ready in the next few weeks. And so we have to submit them to George for review. And then after that, we'll submit them and it'll be ready to go right up on the website. All right, thank you
I'll send
very
you an
much.
electronic version of the presentation.
Then you're scanning it. Page by
Yes,
page.
yeah, don't send it. I'll send you the.
Justin did too, but it didn't say stay down.
I got my driver's license in 1984 and I haven't had a transportation, so I think I can.
Well, that's good. I can't say the child I did not want to have.
The ones on the outside or the ones
Do you think I
that
should
use
put
credit
my
card,
credit
credit
card
card.
back there in case it doesn't exist? Well,
We're all good, thank you.
need this except for a
I turned the volume.
Thanks for all the work.
Anybody want the cards? I know some new council folks.
Yeah, bring some up
See,
here.
the case doesn't fit just the more.
Yeah, you can leave some on the table.
Okay. Good night, everybody.
Good night, George. Safe travels.
Thanks.
Let him go.
Help yourself.
I have coffee.
Yeah, heat it up.
So we're ready to resume the agenda here. What's new on our agendas now is that we have a space for the mayor and the tax collector to give us any important news that they might have related to your offices. Mayor, do you have any important news, especially if it relates to any business that we might take up?
No, I'm glad that,
In so many.
I had no idea.
No, no,
because
I'm just gonna put this back there so it doesn't ring again.
Jason had approached you about this stuff that I
Maggie, I was
let
gonna get a
everybody on
copy, see if I
council
put
know
it back
about.
there.
You know, I'm hearing from one fireman that they wanted 3 days. They were sure about that, but if they weren't sure what day, okay, so
We'll take
this
that up.
all needs taken care of.
We'll take that up in the
Workshop.
Your workshop.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Good.
Tax collector Kathy, do you have anything for us?
I just want to remind everybody that if you haven't paid your 2025 borough taxes, they have to be paid by the 31st of March. You might want to get that done because the 2026s are coming out March 1st.
Okay. All right, thank you. Okay. Let's move on to professional reports. Borough Secretary Treasurer, monthly financial report, correspondence, anything else?
Sure. No, I think that's it, and then the police, incident log, that's all I have. So for the financial report, the balance in the general fund as of December 31st of 2025 was $1,095,009.60. The balance in the liquid fuel fund, all of these balances are as of December 31st, 2025, so I don't have to keep repeating that, but $31,240.29 in liquid fuel. Pliget investment, $4,126.50. Pliget capital purchase is $1,847.88. The water and sewer fund has $116,040.56. Emergency management, $12,926.43. And then the Aqua Money fund that we have, $181,147.89. And the financial report is available on the website, as always, to look over.
Do we know when we're gonna get the money from the cell tower?
Well, not exactly. A couple of the conditions were, I was gonna report on this anyway, I can do it now if you want me to. They got the title search done, it came back what I call clean title search. They had to do they call it as-built survey. The guy was, whoever it was supposed to come out Monday, I don't know if he did or not. Brian, did you see anybody around on Monday up here doing survey work?
Yeah, those.
They were here, good,
They got
okay.
painted lines on their work.
That'd be done too, Kevin, but I think those are only two things I'm expecting to hear from my counterpart over there pretty soon, so, okay.
Okay, get us that money, Joe. Get us that money.
Well, I'm looking at those numbers up there, and the young man had them up there, like, okay, you know, what the return could be, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's all if they didn't go belly up in the next year or two. You have to take that into consideration too, because at any time they could go say, hey, we're done with that tower.
Any correspondence, Jenna?
Yeah, I have some, the incident log too for the Deer Falls Police, 54 incidents cleared and closed. Correspondence, I received a interest from, can you pronounce your last name?
Stoyanov.
Stoyanov, okay, Jason Stoyanov, Dear West Mayfield Council, it was brought to my attention that there is a vacancy on the West Mayfield Council. I am interested in being a member of the council and would like to be considered for the position.
Okay, we'll take this up under old business. It's under old business because last meeting, council recognized the vacancy that we have currently, which started our 30-day clock, and there was a resolution on the table at that point, which got tabled to now. So we'll take that up and a few questions for you then, okay?
Okay, a couple other things I have regarding correspondence. I received an email from Keystone State Consulting. It's regarding zoning, and that they are able to essentially help us with our zoning ordinances and kind of getting everything there. It says I'm ready to propose our services for any zoning, planning, and code enforcement needs. So anything regarding that, I can send that information along to everybody as well. Widmer Engineering reached out for us to reappoint them for the position of borough engineer for 2026. I will also send that to everybody. We can put it on the next council meeting. The MS 329 project, which is the paving project that we just did, was all approved through Liquid Fuels to pay for all of it, and it's already been taken care of. I just wanted to let everybody know it was completely approved through Liquid Fuels. Liquid Fuels, again, the March 30th is the deadline, so I will be handling all of that. I just wanted you guys to know that it was sent to me. I can forward this to everybody as well if you would like to look over it. Everything I have to do to get the Liquid Fuels money. Oh, and then the last thing, Chief Johnson informed me that the annual report for the borough will be presented in February of 2026 due to technical issues with data. So that's all I have.
Okay. When you do your minutes, could you just, because you mentioned them here at the table, could you just one sentence for each one of those?
Yeah.
Just so it's on our radar. Anything else?
No, that's everything.
Okay, great, thank you. Public safety, readiness, activities, issues, code enforcement officer, anything to report?
We had one occupancy permit this month. We had one excavation permit this month. That's about it. Now, did you want to know about the landlord agreements? They're starting to come in. I don't know how much.
We have had 12 so far. We're just gonna make sure, we're gonna need a copy of every one that comes in so that we'll know who that we've gotta, I don't know who, are we going after them, or you going after? I'm not really sure who's doing what here. In case they don't pay. Like that one, Michael Stuck. Where it says who I was living in, it says Michael Stuck and family. That's not helping us.
Well, I know, I was gonna tinker with that.
So who's gonna be doing all this enforcing? You know what I'm saying? Or is it up to us to say, hey, call them and say, hey, who's living in this house? Or, I mean, I know that's putting a lot on you if you have to do everything.
Why don't you, at our work session, why don't you bring your concerns, and when we take this up under public safety, we can problem solve this and figure out, what we need to get you guys the resources you need to do this the way it needs to be done. We'll just always have to keep in mind that ordinance, because that's, we have to keep going back, make sure we're consistent with that ordinance there, but, okay, good. Good. I do want to say something. I looked over the monthly financial report in December, and I noticed you had listed for some of the checks permits. They're assuming they're building permits or so forth.
Yeah.
But they just say permit, so I don't know could we have a little more specificity?
Sure.
No,
that's me. That's
you?
my wording, yeah.
Okay.
I know what they're for. I just put permit.
Okay.
So you want specifics.
So if you guys, when you give Jenna information or whatever, yes, we know that what type of permits, because there are several types of permits that we want to track, right?
Yes.
Why is this important? Because we have, all those permits have different fees. And as we'll see a little bit later, we need to talk about those fees, and whether they're appropriate and so forth. Keep up with inflation. If nothing else. Okay, anything else?
And if you want, those could be sent to us. So you don't have to deal with all this. We'll discuss it at the next meeting.
Okay, good. Okay. Emergency Management Coordinator. Anything to report? How we doing? Are we ready for an emergency in this borough?
As ready as we always are.
You ready as we always are? Are we as ready as we should
On high
be?
alert.
Still got to get all the information of the new council. Who is, I know you're president, who's vice president?
Justin.
Justin.
Yeah, it's on the website. Everything is updated on the website, including contact information.
I just got updated Sarah plans from county, the big hazard things, PTC Alliance, and just reviewed them, and I gotta get back with Gene because it's, the plan that he sent me doesn't list PTC Alliance. It's the plant, but it's got an old name and it's got old information, so I gotta get back to him and say, hey, did you send me a copy of the correct information? Big companies that have a certain level of hazardous material are required to do an internal emergency plan. They forward that plan to the county. County then sends it to police and fire and the EMC. So I'm not sure if county sent me the most current plan because it's Pittsburgh tubular steel, which I don't think that's been in Pittsburgh.
Not for a long time.
Tubular steel for a long time, but also lists,
PTC is what's on the tax records.
right. The products that they have and the plan that goes with the products that they have does. That doesn't change. Year after year, you have this product, you have this hazard plan. Things haven't changed. But they still list Bruce Harris as the fire chief.
So
Yeah.
this is for the NARM? No, this is for the hazard specific.
This is the hazard specific plan that's part of the notification of resource manual
Okay.
that just came from county.
Okay. Yeah, but please update all of that stuff if
Yeah,
you can.
that's,
Yeah.
again, what we do here is tiny, because it's me and Bill. It's the county emergency management people, the county hazmat people, Beaver Falls Fire, Beaver Falls Police, things like that. We are just what West Mayfield can provide. So we are the resource for what we have available as a resource. So when county's like, this is needed, okay, yeah, we have a front end loader. We have a small bulldozers, things like that. But yeah,
So-
the county plans come along.
So what really is important to me on a month-to-month basis at these meetings is to know that we're ready as we can be. We're,
As ready as we've been for the last 12 years.
yeah, I'm not encouraged by that one bit. And I say that seriously because we are just now updating our emergency operations plan, which I was reading today. Oh my gosh, there's a lot of stuff that we don't know according to that plan. We should know, we will know, but currently we don't know. So thank you so much though for working on this, and that's how we're going to move forward with all of this for sure. Is there anything else you'd like to add to your professional report?
I guess it's gonna come up later that you wanna split up GEMS, the Joint Emergency Management Services.
Yeah, there is a resolution to take that up. We can take that up when we get to that.
Okay, I'm just really curious as to why.
All right. Fire chief, fire department representation, fire report?
Here.
No fire report?
No fire report from them.
Okay. Police report, do you feel the report? We're gonna have the annual report, February?
There's an issue with some of the data migration when they put in the new CAD for the county. So we're just trying to just put in information regarding our college research. So
Okay.
that would be it. February.
thanks for letting us know about that, appreciate that. Zoning officer, anything to report, anything going on in your world you need to know about?
There was a guy on West Fifth. He was wanting to, rezone his new property.
Oh, he
Yeah, so,
bought a house that had 2 apartments in the basement, and I gave him an occupancy permit a while back. I think it was a contingent. And he wanted to keep it as, he did away with 1 apartment because it was where the garage used to be. Put the garage back in, but kept another apartment. And the other one, and he was remodeling that, and I said, this is R1. And he wanted to do a variance, have a variance hearing, and I guess his wife is an attorney, and she told him it was going to be too expensive for that to happen, and it may not work out for him. So I met with him again today, and I told him that he's not going to be able to do that. Now, if you want to, I'd imagine our codes are so vague and stuff that I said if you want to rent it out and they want to use it as a mother-in-law suite or something, I don't think there's anything we can do about that. But you can't rent it as an apartment, a separate apartment. So we got that all straightened out.
Okay.
That was it. That's about it for the zoning.
Okay. In our resolution for appointments, we're gonna take up the appointments for a zoning hearing board. Is that?
Yeah, that's right. We're gonna need that.
We're gonna need that, yeah. Okay. Joe, anything under solicitor more than what you added?
No, what I added was I was gonna bring up, and I echo what Bob said, we talked about that too, and he's right. We both should check that for single family. I thought we don't have the term duplex, we have 2-family dwelling, okay, which is the equivalent of a duplex. And I thought we might have that as a permitted use under the R1, but we don't. Okay, so like Bob said, the guy, he'd have to, if he wanted to truly do a 2-family dwelling, he'd have to get a variance. So that's all I have to say.
All right, on the agenda, I have a slot here for the engineer, and if you look at what the engineer does for the borough, duties and responsibilities and so forth, if we ever have a need, a consultation from the engineer about issues, we do have a spot here for the engineer and other. So independent auditor, zoning hearing board, we have now a space on the agenda to take up any issues that we have in those areas here. Okay, so we'll move on. We heard the presentation from Stamp. Citizens. I'd like to entertain any comments from citizens.
That would be me, I'm first.
Okay, Kathy Brewer.
Might as well get it over with. I see on here there's a resolution about why I signed that. I didn't realize until I signed it that it's on here. I myself, and I know there's a group that will help, we need to really do something about this building, this meeting space. It's terrible. It needs updated, it needs painted, it needs cleaned, it needs everything. And I would like to be able to do that.
You'd be a part of the process.
Mm-hmm. And I'm sure there are other people in the room that will help. But it's so unwelcoming. And it's just a clutter of everything. So something needs to be done.
Okay.
I agree.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Kathy. Mayor, anyone else?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, look what I had to move just to serve treats there. Nora.
Yeah,
We can change
I
that
agree
into
with
a table.
Kathy. I would gladly help to come up. Things need moved around. I think we need new tables. I would check into this table and chairs, because I know they gotta be antiques. Maybe you could get enough money out of the whole set to buy
I like my chair.
nice looking chairs and
Look,
tables.
it don't squeak or nothing.
I always wonder, where did they ever get this table from?
Yeah, it's so outdated, you know.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
It doesn't fit through the door.
I'd contact maybe Hofstadter or somebody, just have them come look at it. You know?
Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay, Jason?
Mine was same as Cap, like, it's mentioned there about the vacancy. That's why I put it down there. I was interested in.
Okay, well, I have a question for you. I mean, really, are you you've lived here for the past 12 months, and you're a registered elector. Okay, those are the two, you're over 18. Those are the requirements to be, fulfill a vacancy in council.
Yeah, I've been West Mayfield, next month will be 22 years. So, and my wife's been, lived here over 25 years of her life.
Okay.
She,
All right. We'll take this up shortly.
Okay.
Okay. All right. No, anyone else?
Jason Heaton talked already.
Mm-hmm.
And Bill Heaton.
Bill Heaton. Basically, all I'm gonna do. Oh, excuse me. Where'd the other one go? We'll turn this information over to you guys to do whatever you may like. This is a briefcase. It has a lot of my files and stuff in it from like sewer management. You know, programs that I wrote out and plans that I had for what sewers broke down when. There's a lot of information in here from Insight Pipe, stuff like that, some bids that we had. So you guys can do, I don't know where you want this, I'll just send it here for now. You can do with it for what you want.
Great.
I don't keep the briefcase. Mayor, this is for you. I found this when I was going through all this other stuff. Floodplain.
Right.
It's old.
Okay.
Yeah?
Thank you.
Um,
Do you want a cup of coffee before you leave?
I'm not leaving yet.
Oh, okay.
I have other questions. I don't know whether you want them brought up now or later on.
Well, do you have any comments, anything specific to the agenda? Items on the agenda?
No, I don't know. I didn't get a copy of the agenda before I got here, but I was looking to find out last year, one of the last things I did, that thing to purchase a sewer camera.
Yeah.
Did it happen?
It happened.
Didn't
Yeah.
happen.
Has it come in?
It has not came in yet.
Okay. Also, I just found this out a little bit ago. We went to Waste Management for our trash pickup. I believe I talked with you last week or week before when we were here, that they're supposed to have electronic equipment pickup. According to them, they do not.
Okay, so today, it took me a little while. I got through to them, cause I've got issues. One of my tenants didn't get their trash picked up, and everybody's saying, where's my bill? And anyway, supposedly we're supposed to have something by tomorrow.
Yeah, so she said by the 15th, all the invoices should be out.
Okay.
And if you don't get it, then I think there's a QR code on the website for that.
Well, on the website, there is a page dedicated to refuse service, and there's the note there from Waste Management. If no one has received a brochure or an invoice by the 15th of January, to contact Jenna. Jenna will forward the names of those residents to Waste Management so they can get on the radar.
But to answer Bill's question, we asked the same thing. Jeremy, I put Jeremy on the phone because he has some houses that are under construction. So he talked to them, and then he said that he had a couple TVs to get rid of. And they said, well, we don't do that. He says, well, we're under the understanding that you do that. We get e-waste. And he goes, no, I don't know anything about that, but this is, they didn't even know they were picking up in West Mayfield.
Waste Management doesn't do the actual e-waste, that
Right,
it's
it's another
outsourced. So
Right.
there's a whole nother, I think it's in the brochure. I don't have the brochure.
But this guy
with me.
told Jeremy, he says, well, just put it out with your trash, he'll probably take it.
It might, that's probably general. So that's probably general waste management support. So what happened is Aiken never turned over the customer list. So waste
Right.
management is literally doing this by like data that's on the internet and
They were
dockets
driving
and
around
stuff
one
like
day in
that.
a truck.
Yeah,
Small pickup
they
truck,
did.
looking at everywhere.
Yeah, so a lot of the information they got, they just pulled from this. So for everyone that got a pamphlet, you should assume that you're going to get an invoice. If you got 2 pamphlets, you might get 2 invoices, and she'll have to like correct that because of the parcels and different things like that. But they're going to work with everybody. And the e-waste management and the hazardous stuff is a third-party company,
Right.
which I believe she just sent over the contract for.
Yep. And I already signed it. Sent it
Yeah,
back.
and so that I can't imagine that not starting. But in that pamphlet, I believe it said e-waste. Am I wrong on that? It's in the
And it's a
pamphlet?
different
Okay.
phone
And it's a
Yeah,
different
it just
phone
said
number.
e-waste, I just took it as electronic waste.
Yeah, and it's a different
Special
phone number.
organization.
It's cans of paint, it's
Oil.
cans of
Yeah.
oil.
Light bulbs. all
Okay, so
kinda
you already
stuff.
know all that.
Yeah, we know that, and we called them to set up the pickup, and then they sent a message back saying, we don't do that, you have to take that to a landfill.
Yeah, it's in the brochure for under their e-waste thing. I'm pretty sure there's a phone number in
No,
there.
I don't think there was anything in that, I didn't see any phone numbers in that brochure. that
There's
sent
a,
out.
there's
No.
a web address.
Excuse me. I called because I wanted, when the guy was here with the presentation, he said they would send bags to put the
Right.
paint in. So I called and I got connected to Massachusetts and she pulled up the contract and she said, I don't see anything in here about paint and TVs. She said, but we could still be inputting the information so it's not updated the way it should be at this point. And I called a week ago.
And they were telling us today, Jeremy kept asking, they were asking, well, you have to ask your secretary. He said, I did, and she said to ask you guys. So we really need to get that, one of them people on that came here.
And she's going to be here
On the 4th.
on the 4th to take care of any issues.
Who's she?
Terry from Waste Management.
Terry,
If
okay,
you
that's what I
order a
was
can,
Okay.
if you order a can, you don't get it till the beginning of February.
Yeah.
Yeah, and part of the problem is, we signed the contract, the 30th of December?
Yeah, but we had to get it in
Yeah.
before the end of the year.
Yeah, so,
So bear with us, everybody,
Yeah,
we're
and
gonna
I-
solve these problems.
and I would just like to say, Waste Management has done wonders considering that there was zero handoff to them at all.
Right.
So, my personal opinion on, them getting the
I'm not
pamphlets
surprised.
out at least has just been phenomenal. They used a local printer to do all that instead of their corporate to get it on time, so, yeah.
I
I'm
also-
sure we'll get it all hammered out.
Yeah.
I spoke to Waste Management right before I came here, and everyone keeps calling me, emailing me, texting me. Is my service gonna get cut off? Is my service gonna get cut off? No. Your garbage will continue being picked up. Even if this invoice doesn't get there by tomorrow, your garbage will continue getting picked up. No one has to worry.
And if it hasn't, that's when you
If
reach
it
out
hasn't, that's
to-
when you reach out to me, and I reach out to Terry and say, these people haven't had their trash picked up, sorry.
Great, okay.
That's it.
Anybody else? Mayor?
No.
That's it. No
Oh,
others?
wait. Yeah, Bill's last one.
Yeah, the last one.
Last
Are
one.
you all done?
Okay.
Okay.
Alrighty, so, no objections, let's move on to old business. One resolution we have under old business is something we've been kicking the can down the road on, and I think rightfully so, is the resolution approving the 25 emergency operations plan. Wow. I was reading it today, I've got more questions than ever about that. So we're waiting for some updates, you to
Yeah, I
revise.
finally got that thing where JC's comments were visible.
Yeah. Good, okay,
Okay,
good.
yeah, they're,
So
yeah.
we're revising, Eli is revising the plan as appropriate, as necessary, based on some of the comments from the county EMA. We are also in the process of getting a hold of the norm and the hazard-specific plan for council. This is sort of a need-to-know document but it's part of this emergency operations plan that we need to take a look at and wrap our heads around before we can get this resolution signed off on. So I would like to entertain a motion to table this indefinitely. We'll take this up again in February, but until we can get this the way we need to get this plan.
I'll make a motion.
Do we have a second? Okay, any objections? Okay, motion to table this? Okay, the second old business resolution we have here is to appoint a candidate to fill the vacancy in the office of member of council. And we have Mr. Stoyanov, who threw his hat in the ring, verified that he's in good standing. He's been a citizen resident here for 12 months. He's an elected registered voter. Do you want to say any few words? Because I'm going to entertain a motion to make an appointment to fulfill this resolution, to put you on council for a 2-year term until the next municipal election. That's the max we can do. Do you want to say a few words why you want to be on council? If we have any questions, we could do that.
Okay, I'll make it quick because I don't want to make the meeting any longer.
You're reading everybody's mind. You know?
Okay, Jason, I'm Jason. So, real quick, I mean, there's things I'd like to get involved with. I've talked with Kevin quite a bit, and with Kathy, some of the ideas she has, helping out. I'd just like to get more involved. Just helping a few people here and there. It's like, those people that have helped over the years, they're like, you need to get involved a little bit more. I'm like, so that's another reason why I want to get involved. And then hearing some of the presentations and some of the comments from people. I'm interested in getting be part of like the emergency management team. I have some ideas there, and then with the maintenance department and stuff like that. Because any of you that see me out and about, I love being outdoors. So it's like anything I can do helping people outside that aren't able to, I'm able to help that out. And also with like communication, I have some ideas with like communication with the borough and the residents, like with the website and stuff like that. Maybe to alleviate. I don't know who does that right now, to get information on that and help out with that. Those are just 3 real quick points. Any questions, anybody?
Okay. Do anyone have any questions for?
Nope, but I'll make a motion that he gets that seat.
Any questions for Jason, anything like that? Okay. Well, you certainly have my recommendation. So, entertain a motion to fulfill this resolution by appointing Jason to council.
Need a second.
I'll second it.
Do we need a roll call on that, or just a?
I don't believe we do.
Okay.
If you'd like one, we could do it.
Nope.
Okay.
Let's keep the meeting going.
So there's no objections at all. Motion carries. Congratulations. The mayor has to swear you in. She has some paperwork for you also to sign. Probably more paperwork here to do. Right? But we could put you on this seat right now if you'd like. If the mayor wants to deliver the oath.
Yeah, are you ready?
Yep.
Jen, I think I still have my.
I'm gonna send you a screenshot of WM at your door to maybe put on the website.
Okay.
It's the hazardous
Raise your
waste.
hand.
It's a phone number to actually call, but it's a screenshot of their actual website.
I, Jason Stoyanov,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support,
I will support,
obey, and defend
obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and that I will discharge
and I will discharge
the duties of my office with fidelity.
the duties of my office with fidelity.
Good, congratulations.
All right, congratulations.
I'll explain what you need to do with this.
That's us do like.
Yeah. Bob has to do this too before he leaves. Sue did hers. We'll get that after.
All right. Sometimes we're winging it up here, but we're winging it by the book, which is the best thing to do here. So, under new business. Now, if you're looking at the agenda, there's a lot of stuff here that we're going to take up, and I guarantee you some of this stuff will be tabled naturally. So the first order here is resolution of the 26 municipal appointments and authorizations. Now, I've been putting this out here to council. You all should have had a chance to see the resolutions, the links. I can put them up on the projector. If anyone in the audience would like to see these, we could do that.
I would like to,
You would like to see them? Okay.
because there's nothing on TV tonight.
Yes. No, but I want to do it.
That's today, Wednesday, Father's Day.
It's
I have all my recorded shows to watch
right
from
from
yesterday.
Recorded the Steelers game, watch it again. That'd become torture.
Gotta warm up.
Like torture that night.
Yeah, that's what I'll tell you. Never thought it'd end that way.
It was for me, at least.
Okay, so in the interest of time, and just awareness and everybody being on the same page with some of the business here coming before council, I'm gonna try my best to get these resolutions, motions, ordinances and so forth, the text out there to the public, for, to lay your eyes on these things. Because, yeah, this is stuff that we all should be aware of. So in the name of good governance, this stuff is, it's in the agenda that's posted online. So this is a standard resolution. We have to do appointments every year. This is a standard resolution. It's sort of an omnibus resolution that covers agency open records officer, assistant treasurer, borough secretary, treasurer, code enforcement officer, third-party code enforcement officer, which is something that we have to deal with because there is an issue with some of your properties that we talked about this when we did the ordinance. We're going to have to hire a third party to deal with your properties.
Hire or just grab some of your counsel?
Well, someone who's qualified to do it soon, but these are things that if we can't figure out things tonight, then what we don't figure out, we'll table to another time, okay? Because there are some things that we just don't know here. But I'm just going to give you an overview here. Emergency management coordinator, the engineer, independent auditor, public works consultant, the solicitor, the commercial code enforcement, which would be CodeSys, our vacancy board chair, and our website administrator, zoning hearing board, the zoning officer, deputy tax collector. Now, some of you may not have ever heard of the appointment of the deputy tax collector, but it's something that has to be done by law through Kathy's office. And then also approving our banking institutions. First National Bank is one of our banks, is that right, Jenna?
That's our only bank.
Yeah.
That's our only bank, we don't have PNC?
No, they weren't giving us any interest. We went from getting $3 a month to like,
The
what,
only thing,
300?
the only thing we had through PNC was our credit card, and it's closed.
Okay, so.
Yeah.
Okay,
It was not a checking account.
okay. So then we have our commercial merchant accounts, do we have a credit card at all?
If we're not actually gonna, if we have to do this, should this be like work session stuff and not even discussed right now?
Okay, you guys tell me, we could table this whole resolution.
If we have to discuss the whole thing and like go through and correct it, I'd say it's not a business matter. Me personally.
What would you like to do?
I would say table it and workshop it and work out all these details.
Because we do have missing information.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's Marge Go, who was a candidate for assistant treasurer, just said she couldn't do it, and that was as of yesterday. So your motion is to table this resolution
for the workshop.
Okay. Is there a second to that?
Seconded.
Okay, any objection to this? Okay, so the resolution for the municipal appointments is tabled to the February workshop, February 4th. Okay. Resolution setting 2026 municipal fees.
This should be good.
Okay. So, the way that our motion to create the municipal fee, unified municipal fees document was set up, this was passed last year, was that council could amend this at any time, right? But it is standard, really good municipal practice to set the fees at the beginning of the year. This gives us a chance to consider our budget, our treasury, whether these fees are appropriate or not, and so forth, complete or not. So doing them now at the beginning of the year is just a good way to put a check on all the fees here. And so this here is everything that we have so far. And this might be a thing that we take a look at too, to table as well. Because there are a lot of fees that we may want to look at again in light of our financial situation. We just heard the stamp people give an overview of our finances, and in some respects we're doing very well financially, but in some respects we are not. So our inflows and outflows is one of those problem areas here. So as municipalities are doing across the board, they are looking, and this is what DCD is also recommending, they're saying, okay, if you need to raise money, municipalities, you could raise your property taxes. That's one way that we could do it. You could charge for fees, goods and services. That's one way it could be done. Right here, these are fees for services, permits, and various things. My question, I guess we can bring this up if you want to table this, is do we want to raise these fees? We can raise them across the board, we can raise them individually, but in the last council memo, I ran the math, and if we were, I think this $40 for the permit fee here, what is that, construction? What is that?
New construction.
New construction fee, $40. I think when that was put into place many years ago, cumulative inflation, this should be $62 instead of $40. Just to give you an example how behind inflation we are on things. Our $300 ordinance fine should be over $400, $450 if we kept up with inflation. But anyways, you know, we can all run the math on this and see where we are with inflation or not. But this is something that we need to discuss probably at the work session, right? So, can I entertain a motion to table?
Workshop.
Okay, Jason.
I'll second.
Just a motion, Bob seconded the motion. We'll table this to the workshop.
Get a long workshop.
Okay. Now, look, it's not gonna be a long workshop. If you guys look at this stuff and you kind of think
Get
about
some
it,
ideas ahead of time.
bring it to the table. Yeah, right. I mean, we can just.
I just don't think we can make the changes here and then vote on them unless they're super small, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it'd be tedious.
I think so.
Okay. Okay. All right, so we're gonna table this motion here.
Kevin,
Yes.
almost all the ordinances have fines attached to them. In the back of the ordinance to say, this is the fine for so-and-so.
Yes.
Are you gonna update each individual ordinance, or are you gonna change the ordinance to say see fee schedule?
Well, that would be partly a question for Joe, how that would be done.
Well, it would depend on how the actual ordinance, some ordinances, I'm sure of this, will set, as Bill said, the fine, or max fine, we'll set a max fine. That to change, you would have to do by ordinance, and also, I'd have to double check, because by statute, there are limits on what you can impose for a fine for different violations. Some are still, I think, a max of $300. Others, it depends on the type of ordinance, can go as high as $1,000. So I could check into that and let you know what the limits are.
Well,
But-
the borough code was amended in '24 to raise
Yeah.
it to 600, from 300 to 600 on that sort of standard.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
okay. But then some of your ordinances, I think this is what Bill's talking about, may already state that fines or costs can be changed by resolution to eliminate the need to advertise a whole new amendment to the ordinance.
Right.
Okay, so that would depend on the particular ordinance, so.
Right. Yeah, we'll have to just, because we do have certain fees, fines that we can collect. This document here, I believe I covered about everything, maybe not, but it's a good chance to, this is a good opportunity to sort of put it in there and see, and then ask that question in light of what our advisors are telling us. We really need to start thinking about inflation here, and this revenue, and this is a revenue stream. These fees this is a revenue stream for the borough. So if we don't want to raise property taxes, this is one way we could help not do that, right? To consider these fees.
We'll look into some of the stuff that we do with other boroughs, try and keep them in line.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. Okay, so the next item here is C, resolution awarding a contract for refuse collection to Waste Management of Pennsylvania. I'm assuming this is a formality at this point, Joe?
Yeah.
Right? So,
Yes, sir.
where are we on this? So this is the resolution that I have, it's straightforward. Here, that we approve the contract with Waste Management for the collection, removal, and disposal of garbage and refuse in the borough, beginning January 1st, 26, and ending December 31st, 28.
I would suggest you pass that.
Yeah.
Okay, can I entertain a moment to pass this resolution, awarding the contract? Do I have a motion on the table?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Okay. All right, the resolution passes.
Do we don't have to do one for the e-waste contract that came?
None of
through?
us subbed out, if you
Okay.
remember, Justin. That's so whenever you said that, I thought, wait a minute. It says that right in the agreement. It hasn't been that long since I looked at it, obviously.
Yeah.
And, but if they choose to sub that out, they do have that prerogative to do that.
Because they did give us a new contract that you just
I
took
just
care
signed
of.
it
Yeah.
and sent it back, yeah.
Does he need to look at that, or do we need to pass a resolution for that?
Well, frankly, I didn't see what they gave you to sign, but my thoughts are that may have been unnecessary, that second one.
Okay.
Because the first one did obligate them to provide that, they called it what was it?
HWE.
Yeah. And whether internally they're doing that with their employees, or they're hiring another company to use their employees, the other company, is a matter of indifference to us, because their responsibility is still on us. Waste Management, I mean.
Okay. Next, we're going to entertain a resolution reforming council committees. So at the last meeting, I talked about this a little bit here, and I talked about the wonderful example of Gettysburg Borough, who a number of years ago said, let's do away with our standing committees. Let's bring all of council together to deal with areas of responsibility. They did this through a workshop. They created a workshop meeting. So at the workshop meeting, we had public works issues, public safety issues, budget, finance, and so forth. They threw these issues on the table. Everybody had a chance to problem solve, take it, escalate it into some other area, create an ad hoc committee to deal with it, or whatever, right? But they did it because they wanted all of council to have more oversight and accountability with the issues within the borough. So this resolution does just that. Now, if you remember, the past few meetings in December or so, we actually didn't have committees discussed. We actually talked about problem areas that we had. I thought that went rather well. So this resolution basically says that. It does away with the standing committees, and it creates areas, budget and finance, culture and recreation, general administration, government/governance, public safety, public works. And that...
I could almost read that.
Oh, sorry, let me...
Thank you.
Okay, sorry.
Some of us have old eyes around here.
Please speak up, yeah. But you know, I mean, we still have to have some structure to this. So what this resolution calls for is an appointment of an oversight chair. Basically, think about the old standing committee chair, right? This would be someone on council who would have that task of oversight of that area, right? And so it calls for an oversight chair. Discretionary spending would be consistent with what we have now, $100 per month. These areas can create ad hoc committees. These committees, you know, for specific projects or areas they need to deal with. These committees can also bring on citizens, encouraged to bring on citizens to help deal with issues, which would help with citizen engagement. And that these issues to be taken up at the work session meeting in particular. So that, I know this is it's an unconventional way to go about handling stuff like this, but it is something that has been working in Gettysburg Borough. And we've actually done a little bit of it already, testing the waters.
My one comment on that is just like in concerns to like the Sunshine Act, like because committees aren't technically held to a public meeting, right? I think is what it specifically says there. So it's like if the citizens don't come to a committee meeting or don't know that it's technically kind of lack of transparency a little bit. So that's my only concern about how this is worded in here a little bit.
Okay, can you point to something specific?
So
like down the bottom here, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Work
up just a little more. I think, yeah, maybe open to the public, but generally they are not considered public meetings under the Sunshine Act, right? So it kind of shows there could be a very lack of transparency if a committee meets and makes a decision on something and the public doesn't know about it, more so than what is discussed here.
But
right?
you're not voting on it though, you're just
That's a good
bringing a
point.
recommendation. right?
Council doesn't have to have a public meeting for trainings, for like seminar works, basic informational works. If business is not gonna be done, doesn't have to be business in terms of deliberations and voting, right? Like our work sessions, if there's not a quorum, we roll with it, right?
Yeah,
Still
I agree. I'm just like the wording for me. It was like just a kind of weird there.
Okay, I added that wording specifically, so it is clear that if we're having a meeting where there's not deliberations and voting,
Yeah.
the Sunshine Act does not say that has to be a public meeting.
Correct. So, but that also means that it doesn't need to be advertised that we're technically reviewing that process.
If it's not a public meeting, it does not,
yeah.
under the Sunshine Act.
Sure, yeah.
It would not have to be advertised, public notice.
I agree.
What we have set up, and this is thanks to Joe, we did tighten up our definition of what the public work sessions are, public meeting work sessions. They are for that purpose. So they're duly advertised. If there is a quorum, business can take place at those meetings. But there is now a stated purpose for the work sessions, and now there's a stated purpose. I opened this meeting up saying the purpose for this is to take up business. Okay. So, do you want to change any language here, or do you want to strike anything, or?
I don't know yet. That's it, because I look at it as like on the old meetings, it was, this department, this department, this department, and what this looks like, it's just going to be like, there are no departments, so whatever decisions made during those reviews or committees, they're just going to be brought up right into council, right, to vote on, right? In essence, in a public meeting. So to me, it's almost a little bit of a lack of transparency. Like, even though the public can come, we don't physically have to advertise that a committee's meeting about that.
Yeah, Sunshine Law Act does not require us to.
That's yeah. So that's where my muddiness is, right? Because we've been really good recently of making everything super public, right?
Well, it doesn't preclude us from.
I agree.
We can.
I agree.
I mean, I fully encourage that.
Yeah.
Right. So if we have an ad hoc committee that does this room and they want to meet up here to talk about colors of the paint, hey, let public know, but public meeting, Sunshine Act, public notice, no, that wouldn't be required. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but what could that potentially lead to is like, say, a way larger decision that could be discussed. Like for something like paint, that's fine, right? No one cares about super public. But say it's something, I don't know, like spending a lot of money on something and making a decision on it, you know, without advertising that to the public until the meeting. Like, I don't know if there's like a word that we can throw in there or a sentence we can throw in there that says those committee meetings will be advertised on like social media, something, websites or something like that, just to show that oversight a little bit. Even though it's not required by the Sunshine Act. Does that kind of make sense?
I think what you're trying to do is say, we're not advertising as required by state statute in a newspaper of general circulation.
Yes.
Okay, but we will, for this type of meeting, for lack of a better term.
Yeah. Council requires that to be on
our website.
on our website
Yeah,
or
It's
something.
also good faith too. I mean, it's showing that you are trying to prove that there's transparency.
Yeah, because like I said, like something like redoing this room in here, not a big deal. But what if it's a bigger
It's
decision?
a big deal if they want to put flower walls up or something like that.
I'd say the park, they wanted to do something maybe.
Don't even think about
Exactly.
it.
I just think that it would be wise for council to make it a requirement that it goes somewhere.
What if I add, working meetings may and are encouraged to be open to the public?
But I think we should be required to let the public know that, not through, you know, the requirements of.
Well, you could say it may be, I mean, you're just looking for words of encouragement.
Yeah, I'm looking for something that says there can't really be a secret meeting.
Okay.
You know?
But you want to be
There are
careful.
laws against that already. I mean, that's law already.
But you need to be, you can't have a secret, but
Yeah.
you use words like shall, that is considered mandatory language legally. Shall means there's no ifs, ands, or buts. You gotta do whatever comes after shall, okay?
Yeah.
But if you indicate, as I thought I heard you say, one of these meetings may be announced, maybe avoid the word advertised, may be disclosed on the borough website or something like that. I thought that's what you're.
Yeah, like if we can just ensure that.
It's encouraging, this open disclosures, it's encouraging.
Yes.
Okay, do you want me to change this word may to shall? Now what, right, so as Joe was saying, that means that it must be open to the public.
Yeah.
Just like when opening up bids does not have to be a public meeting, it has to be open to the, can be at a public meeting, it has to be open to the public, right? Doesn't require public notice.
But should we put something in there that this just says, hey, all these committees meetings we're going to put on our website at least somewhere, so that they
And advertised on the municipal website.
yeah, not, it doesn't need to be in a newspaper or anything, but at least on our website so that there's just.
The option for people to see.
I mean,
Yeah.
you ask every week prior to the workshop, what's the topic, you know? I mean, that's what's talked about, so post that.
Yeah,
Correct me if I'm wrong, like say you have a meeting, we'll say this room, you could just say there's a committee headed, and whoever's heading that committee, you could put it on there. Contact this person if you're interested in getting involved. Absolve yourself of.
Yeah, just so that there can't just be like, hey, we're having a meeting tomorrow, no one knows about it, and then we come to council and we're like, here's this big decision, let's do a roll call vote on it, you know, and only the people on council that may have been in that committee.
Is it a decision or is it a recommendation?
Recommendation.
So that's a big
Does that
difference.
revised sentence work for you?
Yes.
Okay. That's fine.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
It's just a transparency thing
Yeah,
for me,
I
that's
get
all.
it, yeah. That's good. I mean, this is, we all should be thinking along these lines, I think, for sure. Okay, so that is what this resolution is doing. You know, if this system doesn't work, we'll go back to the old system, or we'll come up with something else maybe, who knows, but, throwing it on the table.
Are we aiming to pass that one tonight or not?
We can, if someone wants to make the motion.
But
and
can
get a
we though,
second.
because we can't sign, if you're changing the wording that I have printed.
Oh, we can put it in copy. We can strike. We can draft a new. We can pass this as amended.
So we just won't sign this one.
Yeah, I'll sign it. Or you can scratch it out if you want.
Okay.
We can do it that way, but I can take it back and I can reprint that, and send it to you.
Yeah.
But if we pass it, it doesn't matter if we sign it.
That's the last page, has it? That's real quick. Yeah, so this is what was amended, so he can technically, we can pass, right? Yeah.
So.
So we can technically have him sign it, he can print out, you can just print out the new copy and keep it,
Okay.
right?
Yep.
Since it's the last
I
page.
just wanted to be sure.
Pass it as amended, and then sign the last
Yeah.
page.
And then I can just replace this page.
I go home tonight, I can put my signature on it, send it to you. Like the
Perfect.
Because actually, I'll make it over.
I like that better.
Because I'm live on the site.
I like that better.
Okay.
It's way less.
Does everyone want to understand, like, the, you know, what this means, right? There's no department heads or anything, well, there's no departments.
Well, we need
You
to,
mean-
yeah, we need to then choose
Yeah.
amongst ourselves who will be responsible for oversight of these areas. Like, I would like that to be a conversation. You know.
But this is committing to.
Committing to the
Yeah,
structure.
committing to the structure.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying, no more committees,
Standing committees.
the way we always did.
So is there a motion on the table? Take this up.
I'll make a motion.
I second it.
Second. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries to reform council committees. Okay, the next item here is a resolution requesting an increase in the cable television franchise fee. You may not recall this, but to refresh your memory, in our agreement with Comcast, there is a fee. It's 3% that is charged to cable users. That 3% comes back to the borough as a user fee. And that contract is 3%. Prior to the last contract being signed 5 years ago, there was a discussion here around council raised by the solicitor at the time, asking why that was not 5%, which is very common with municipalities, Comcast municipalities around us. And so I believe it was Jeff Bavalina was asking, why is that not 5%? And so some folks in council said they would look into it, they would ask, whatever. Well, that never happened. The contract got signed at the 3% rate. And so the Citizens Advisory Committee did the math, and we realized we were losing thousands of dollars, the difference between 3% and 5%. So what we are asking, based on the contract here, by resolution, and I believe it's in the contract, that is in the contract, I cited here, that if we want to make an amendment to this, bring this to Comcast, we bring it in the form of a resolution. This resolution is that request to raise the fee from 3% to 5%, no later than March 1st.
I have one comment on that, just because I literally just got a reply today from Comcast about this. So we're basing that modification of being to reopen it off, no provision of this franchise agreement shall be amended or otherwise modified in a whole or in part except by an instrument in writing duly executed by the franchising authority and the grantee, which amendment shall be authorized on behalf of franchising authority through the adoption of an appropriate resolution or order by franchising authority as required by the applicable law. Comcast basically replied back that we would have to pass a resolution if it was executed by both Comcast and the borough. But both parties would have to agree to the change, and said I can look into if it's something that we would agree to. It's important to note that we would not agree to a franchise fee that is higher than fees currently being paid by other cable providers. And I would also note that this cost is passed to your residents as part of their bill.
Yeah, all that's in the agreement, that we can't raise that rate higher than, say there was another service right? It can't be higher than that, right? Yeah, so what this says is, this is where we stand on this. This municipality is asking formally Comcast, this is our resolution, duly passed by council. We would like this fee to be moved from 3% to 5%. And if they want to take it from there, if we need to do a joint thing, then we'll take that from there.
But they might also not agree to it too, and they don't have to, based off of the contract.
We'll take it from there, I guess.
This does sound like, I was listening carefully, what you said, and I've never read that contract. If I did, it was years ago, okay?
Yeah.
That does sound like it's by mutual agreement,
Mm-hmm.
by mutual consent.
Yeah.
So like.
So
like
I
Kelly
think,
said,
do
you
we
gotta-
have to come up with that agreement first before we do a resolution?
No, I think you can do I'm shooting from the hip, but I think you can do the resolution and pass it on to Comcast, say, well, here, we've agreed, you gentlemen and ladies agree.
Yeah, if we reach out to them and they said, okay, this sounds great, hey, you gotta pass a resolution. Well, there we go, we're being proactive
And
with this resolution.
do we maybe want to have any citizens comment on, their bill would technically increase from Comcast, which might be a problem as well, so.
Most definitely.
Yes.
It's high enough now.
I mean, obviously, it's not a huge amount because it's like 2% of, it would be 2% more of
We're trying to see if we can.
the fee, right? So it's technically minimal.
What is
but
that 2%? That's everything is on your
I
bill,
don't
or
think
is
it's
it certain
everything,
parts?
it's of the,
Just the cable. Just the cable portion.
yeah, just the
Just the
cable
cable.
portion. So it could be $2, or like, I don't know what it is offhand, but
And if you don't have cable,
it won't go up at all if you don't have cable.
Good point.
This goes back, this goes
if you
back.
just have internet,
Hold
which
on.
99% of people do.
Hold on, guys. This goes back to our financial situation and our strategic approach to how we are going to deal with inflation, right, moving forward. So we've already lost 5 years of revenue. I believe that was $17,000, I think, if I remember the math on that presentation. So we've lost thousands of dollars by not doing this when we had the chance to do it at the turnover of the 10-year contract. So if we don't get it this time, for whatever reason, we'll have in 5 years, 4 years, we'll have a chance to revisit this. But hey, every year we can increase some revenue for the borough. It's a good thing.
Also at the cost of our citizens, right? That's the only problem that I see, that
You want to raise property taxes on the citizens? You want to raise other fees for the citizens? Revenue's got to come from somewhere, right?
I get that, and with the cell tower and sale and putting that into investment, that takes care of the deficit that we currently have in our budget for this year, right? So I don't know if we necessarily have to move on this right now without duly noting that it would raise any revenue that we're going to get from this is going to be from the citizens, is what it comes down to.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of my stance on it.
I would recommend us taking a stand, duly noted, but taking a stand on this and resolving to raise that fee to 5%. Where this goes, I don't know. It may go nowhere. I don't know. But I think we should take a stand and we should raise this.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yeah.
Maybe we could post a similar to what we did for trash, like a survey. You put out there all the information. It's gonna only go up by this 2% for everyone. See what the citizens think about their bill going up, because
I'm sure they're not going to like it, but at the same time, you want to, one way or another, you got to get the money. So
yeah, but if you don't
you
do
raise
your
taxes
due
if you don't
diligence to ask
you don't
them
take
to
it
stay
here or
with
take it there.
then I mean I see what you're saying. Like they could come back to us and be like, you guys didn't even ask us.
Yeah.
You just
Difference is taxes is everybody. This is only going to affect people that have Comcast.
Right.
Comcast cable.
agreed.
Cable, yeah.
I was just
The
making a
verbiage you used,
suggestion.
I think could resolve that too, if you put it out there like she said.
So do you want to table this table this, take this up later after, do a little survey, quick survey.
I mean, I would maybe just, I don't think we have to really table it, I would just
Put it out.
based
Public.
on.
I just don't, I know that we've talked about it, but I don't think it was really brought up that it's going to only affect
The Comcast.
the Comcast
Customers.
and residents here, and not, it's not just like a, hey, Comcast hasn't been paying us this money. It's a, hey, we're at 3% right now. We could be getting more, but it would be on the behalf of the citizens. So it's just, and I don't think that was very clear when we discussed it initially. It was more of like, oh, it's a franchise fee. They get 5%, and more so than our residents would have to pay 2% more on their Comcast.
Yeah, I think the residents were
They're
more
just
so
gonna
thinking
blame
that.
Comcast for it anyways.
Well, I mean, just to argue that when the Citizens Advisory Committee brought this up, there are posts, look them up, there are posts on the Concerned Citizens of West Mayfield that do spell this out, that it is a fee that is passed on from the customers through. Whether people pay attention, I'm not sure, but, and then when I brought this up, right here, I raised that point too, again, and listened to the audio. So, it's not like this was not brought up publicly before the public.
I think it was very briefly went over that it was directly from the residents and not just like a Comcast franchise fee. That, like, in my personal opinion. So that's my the only comment on that. It's just.
Okay, so if you want to, tell me what you want to do. Do you want to, we have to do something with this, it's on the table. We
I would
pass
be,
it, we need to.
I would be
shoot
more
down it, we need to
comfortable
amend it.
if there was at least a small survey that went out, or at least something that went out that was, hey, we're looking into this. This could potentially bring this much in, and it's going to affect this. What's everyone's thoughts? How many people are using Comcast right now? That way we can at least get a baseline. I mean, I know that our trash survey went out and only 36 people responded out of the 400 people we have here. So maybe not a good point, but at least like that effort is there too.
It's an attempt, right?
Yeah.
I'm with you.
I would feel more comfortable with passing something or opening something like that up there.
Okay.
Do we know how much if we would get, if we increased it by 2%, how much more we would get from Comcast?
You know
All
what?
depends on how many people have Comcast.
I don't know, I mean, the post is on Concerned Citizens, right? If you go back and look at that post, I did the math, because I think it was about 4 years at that point, we're at that midpoint. I did the math on what we would gain, I think it's $17,000. I want to say, right?
Over the course of the remaining years.
Yeah, if we were to bump this up for the next 5 years, it would
That's
be
not
about
one year.
$17,000.
Yeah.
I do remember, like, my bill for Comcast was like $1.87 that month. I mean, my share, it's on your bill, my share was $1.87. At, that's at 3%. Raise that up to 5%, and it's not gonna break me.
Yeah, it's not much, but it's
not
still,
much.
yeah.
But you're saying, okay, we'll do, as a consideration to citizens.
That's
We will float this out there, the idea. So I need a motion to table it until we can do that.
Motion to table it.
Okay. Okay, so second. Okay, Jenna, we got a motion to table this, John seconds it. So we'll table this motion until after we float the idea to citizens.
And I will also follow up with this guy to see what the surrounding areas are paying. Or what Comcast is paying for the other surrounding areas as
Yeah, I
well.
think I did the research on that too.
Yeah.
You can find that post. I'll look too.
Okay.
There were a few 3, most were 5, I think. These are Comcast municipalities.
Yeah, and this gentleman, I told you when he got, when I finally got the contact for that, and he literally just emailed me this morning the specific thing that I just read, so.
Good, we're getting somewhere.
We're getting
All
somewhere.
right, good. Okay, so we tabled that until we do a little more public outreach on that. Okay, next item up is resolution withdrawing the borough from the 2010 West Mayfield Eastvale EMA Intergovernmental Cooperation Agreement. So I think it's important I think it's important to read this.
VC box.
So whereas in the year 2010, the Borough of West Mayfield and the Borough of Eastvale entered into an emergency management agency intergovernmental cooperation agreement, and whereas no written copy of this agreement has been located in the borough's municipal records, therefore the exact terms and conditions of this agreement are unknown to council, and whereas the Borough of West Mayfield may have in its possession EMA-related material belonging to the Borough of Eastvale, and whereas the Borough of West Mayfield has in its possession EMA-related financial assets belonging to the Borough of Eastvale in the amount of, as of the December 31st report, $6,463. If that is the 50-50 split that you told us there is in the Emergency Management Fund, you said that it was half that money belonged to Eastvale. So we had...
Belonged to Eastvale, was donated by Eastvale, was paid by Eastvale.
We had $12,926.43 as of December 31st, 2025. If you said, this is what you said at the budget meeting, half of that belongs to Eastvale. Well, that's $6,463.21. Give or take. We can figure that out. Okay. Whereas this EMA agreement ceased to be operational many years ago and no longer serves the public safety interests of the Borough of West Mayfield and citizens.
How deep? Sorry.
So now be resolved, Council of the Borough of West Mayfield hereby withdraws the Borough of West Mayfield from the agreement. West Mayfield Emergency Management Coordinator shall inform the Borough of Eastvale this dissolution of the agreement by registered letter within 30 days of this resolution. The Emergency Management Coordinator shall return to the Borough of Eastvale any and all EMA-related property and materiel belonging to the Borough of Eastvale, and request that the Borough of Eastvale return any such material belonging to the Borough of West Mayfield. And the Borough Secretary Treasurer shall remit to the Borough of Eastvale any and all EMA-related funds and monies held by the Borough of West Mayfield, and request that the Borough of Eastvale return to the Borough any and all funds and monies belonging to the Borough of West Mayfield. The West Mayfield Emergency Management Coordinator and the Borough Secretary Treasurer shall make a detailed report to Council regarding the return and or exchange of EMA-related material and remittance of financial assets. Any disputes that arise regarding the return and exchange of material and financial assets shall be referred to the Borough Solicitor. Discussion? Council, Bob, anything?
Not that old contract, if someone all of a sudden it miraculously appears and there's some clause in there saying if you dissolve it within a certain time frame and they find a loophole, then all of a sudden we're out that $6,000. Does that make sense? I mean, my point.
Well, let's give Council a chance. Okay, Sue?
Questions? I really don't have any questions. I think it's a good idea. It seems non-functional right now.
I concur. I don't think it does either.
Justin?
I don't know. I don't know what my actual opinion is on this, because I don't know what the fund's for, right? Is this going to harm a relationship that we have with Eastvale, if any, right?
I think that's our only tie to them, isn't it?
Do we have record that half the money is actually theirs or ours, right? Is there a legal concern there, right? Like, are we just gonna cut a check and just bygones be bygones?
That's good. That's a good point. These are your comments here about, is there any documentation?
Yeah.
It's a good question.
Well, even if you don't have documentation in the sense of a written agreement, what year was this entered into?
2010.
2010, I believe.
2010. Would there be something in the minutes of both boroughs that may address the subject? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even if you don't have a written document signed off, like the garbage contract. If you have something in the minutes that addressed it the same in both boroughs, I think you need to see if there is. There may not be. I don't know. Okay.
Is this something that could just be a discussion with them too, where, what if we do everything that the resolution says and it's a certified letter, and then they come back and they're like, oh, we actually have 8,000 on that, we're gonna take you to court or something, you know, like, it's, you know.
What does it actually do? What?
This removes us from the agreement.
No.
What is it?
What is it to start with? That's what I don't.
What's your question? We don't know.
You've got, I think.
Where is the agreement? We don't know the terms and conditions at all.
What does it do?
I believe Eli
who
said
does
in
it
the
benefit
past,
and
and
how
I
does it
don't wanna
benefit?
put words.
This was put together by an organization that we created called GEMS, Joint Emergency Management Services. And we approached West Mayfield and we approached Eastvale and Beaver Falls at the same time. I think Eastvale come in a month or two later. About each borough or township or city paying us $1,000 a month, and we would provide emergency management services for those municipalities. That way, if we needed to buy a computer, we needed to buy equipment, like this trailer sitting out here was bought out of that fund. The stuff in it was bought out of that fund. But that stuff was through GEMS, not to Eastvale, and Eastvale didn't give any to West Mayfield. It was through GEMS, Joint Emergency Management Services. And I had a paper, when we asked people to sign on on it, this one right here, because I have this one for anybody that comes on new. And it says right in here, I'll have to have my glasses on because I can't read it. You want to read it?
Sure. So, Beaver Falls left the GEMS organization
They left recently, or?
No,
several years ago. Every community kicked in $1,000. Beaver Falls, being the big boy, they were going to run our EOC, and we were going to be meeting down there with their people. GEMS paid for the renovation of their EOC. After that renovation, Beaver Falls is like, next year with the renewal, we're not gonna take part with it.
Take the money.
And they left. So GEMS was West Mayfield and Eastvale. We were approaching Homewood, Koppel. We were trying to approach multiple other groups to join together with us to be this joint organization. Bill did find a contract that Beaver Falls signed, but the GEMS agreement on such date, President of the municipality certified that the coordinator has been appointed to the position of EMC for the municipality. Municipality agrees to join the GEMS agreement, pay $1,000 per year, which is non-refundable should the municipality decide to drop out of the GEMS agreement. So Beaver Falls got their EOC updated, and then they left.
They got nothing else back.
Yeah, not exactly sure what, there wasn't a penny divvy it up, oh, you gave this much, you took this much, so you get this much back. It was so long, we're not participating. Many years ago with COVID, I think it was shortly after Beaver Falls left, we said, well, we'll stop making those payments, and we agreed between Eastvale and West Mayfield that we no longer need to pay the $1,000 a year slush fund money. But
Yeah, we haven't paid that the boroughs haven't paid that $1,000 for, I can tell you how many years.
yeah,
Neither one.
Neither one.
yeah. Pat had account records for our GEMS account, evidently, because we bought that trailer and all the equipment. It was before my time on council, but the
Well, can
Joint
we-
Emergency Management Services,
Can we spend our part then on something and just use it?
the money was set aside for many years for emergency management. We bought that trailer, we bought those supplies. The money is there for emergency management. It's a little bit of money that was set aside for emergency management. I wanted to put a new generator in this building so that we have power. That money doesn't have to come from the borough, that comes from the
Okay, that's what I'm
emergency
thinking, can we
management.
spend that?
Right,
Yeah.
that's emergency management money
Okay,
for the joint need. Really all it is.
So that's
and this trailer out here, Jim's bought it and
Yeah.
stocked it, but it doesn't belong to West Mayfield.
But we could buy us a generator or whatever we need for emergency management. It would
Emergency
be
management
here.
could buy a generator, yeah. Jim's
Right.
gonna buy it.
Through Jim.
Right.
Yeah.
So potentially,
Spend it.
if we withdraw from this, that's not, we can't use any of that stuff, is that?
Well, we'd have to either buy them out of it or sell it and split the money. Right?
But
No,
No,
the,
you don't get it.
But my whole thing is, what's the purpose of dissolving this agreement, this agency,
Just use our.
this joint, this GEMS team?
This
What's
is
the
not
advantage?
functional, it's not viable, it's not doing anything for us. Search the meeting minutes. Eastvale Gems never comes up in the past, God knows how many years we have records for.
Right.
You're bullshitting us if you're telling us that this has any viability, functionality, any use in its current form. It does not. The evidence suggests it does not. It's dead in the water. We do not know the terms and conditions. You cannot produce the paperwork that put that in place. It's in the minutes.
The borough can't produce it.
You're an emergency, no, I'm sorry, Bill, you were emergency coordinator at that time. You cannot produce it in your records. Eli, you should have inherited the records. Huh?
you guys should have a copy of it.
We don't. This
That's
is the
not our
point.
problem.
You know what?
If
It's
you didn't
it's
do
our
it, if you
problem.
didn't do it, why did you put all that money in?
It's our problem, and we want to do something about it.
Okay.
This resolution is putting an end to it, because it's not functional.
Why is it
We're-
not functional?
We're carrying money that should not be our responsibility, right? Why are we doing that, right? Why are we, the gatekeeper, the keeper of this money, it's not our responsibility.
And I asked council at the meeting, instead of us opening up an account, would you just put it in a sub-account for them? And that council agreed to it. That's why it should be in a quote separate account.
We don't know what
Is
the
it
hell
going in a
happened in
separate
the past.
account?
There were no records. I'm sorry, there are no records. We are right here, right now, and I'm looking for evidence of what this is all about. And there is nothing. You can't produce any evidence. You can't tell me what they are, these terms and conditions. We have a responsibility here to make sure that this borough, right, and all of our areas of responsibility, right, are tight and they're not loose-ended, right, and that we're not carrying baggage that we need to carry. We do not need to do that.
And that's fine. I don't think either one of us are gonna argue about that part of it. So what you're telling me, if you adopt this resolution, Eli and I are both done on emergency management.
No.
What do you mean, no? We're
This
Jim. We're the
is a
ones that deliver.
resolution withdrawing us from GEMS, as you call it.
Well, that's us.
We still have emergency management coordinator right there. He's on our appointment list. We're gonna pay him a salary this year, right? And you're
A
the
reduced
deputy.
salary.
You're the deputy, right?
Yeah.
Right?
And I don't
So,
give it.
okay, so, it's not the
So we're
point.
just getting rid of Eastville.
We're getting rid of this, our involvement in this agreement, right? And by the way, I can't find any documentation showing that Beaver Falls withdrew either. You think council would have had that on record too. I have the document that you're talking about, that where Beaver Falls entered into GEMS agreement in 2010. In fact, it's right here. It's right there, right, this document. I have that. There's no mention of Eastvale, right?
They weren't there at the beginning. They come a couple months later.
Well, according to our records, they've never been there. You know why? Because there's no agreement, there's no record. You guys have, I went through and I cataloged all the emergency management reports to council meetings, right? Eastvale never comes up. Where the hell is this?
Say that
It's
again?
not existing.
You do what?
I cataloged all the emergency management reports to council, right? Sitting around the table, monthly reports. Public safety, emergency management, what do you have to report? Eastville never comes up for year after year after year after year. You want to see the spending, right? Here's the emergency management spending, right? Right here. This is all I have going back to 2020. It ain't much.
But does the,
This is the emergency management fund.
does the agreement, and it looked a little longer than I thought, between the city and this borough, provide for inclusion of any other towns down the road? Because that may be, I like to look at that, have an opportunity to review that. You see what I'm saying? Because if it says you can include whoever, I'm not even the Eastville, Koppel, whatever the heck you want.
Mhm.
And if some, apparently Eastville, I know Eastville was included in that. Then that agreement would dictate what everybody can do with this. Now, Beaver Falls, like somebody said, they withdrew a couple of years ago. I mean, I'm just saying, as your solicitor, I like to have an opportunity to look at that. If you could forward it to me, Kevin.
Yeah, if we withdraw, we technically guaranteed half that money? Or is that still considered Eastville because it would be,
But we didn't pay back Beaver Falls any money.
that's what I'm saying, would it just be Eastville's money then?
East Gems is money.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
I think that part of the problem here is Gems, to a degree, Justin, is a separate entity, like a business.
Yes, yeah.
They probably didn't have an EIN number, you know what I'm
Mhm.
talking
Yep,
about
yep.
here? Okay. But of course, Eastville would have an EIN number, West Mayfield, Beaver Falls would. So one of those, at the time, obviously, it was just Beaver Falls initially in our borough here. So you gotta put the money that was paid, if I heard correctly, $1,000 a year somewhere. It had to be in somebody's account, either one of the participants, and obviously it ended up in our hands, okay?
Yeah.
That's because I was here.
Yeah.
But that doesn't necessarily
can we
mean that
move-
it's West Mayfield.
Let's table, let's do our due diligence, it's 8:30 at night. The citizens, I hear them, they wanna go, let's move on.
Joe,
We'll handle all of it
this
separately.
does have a clause about participating members, municipalities. There must be a resolution passed when there is someone who joins. No evidence of that. Just, you know, I'll send you this.
Please,
Okay.
please.
So if we don't want to move on this tonight, we'll table this. I need a motion to
Yeah,
table.
we can do it next
I'll
month.
make a motion.
Second.
Okay, Bob motions. Jason?
Thank you for saying that.
Okay,
Sure.
all right. Okay, the next item here, resolution authorizing the creation of an ad hoc renovation committee to transform council chambers into a multi-purpose room. This resolution, I tried to base this on the fire service committee, some of the constraints on this. Do you want me to read this, or, well, let me read this, the salient points here. The renovation committee, so this is an ad hoc committee. Purpose of transforming council chambers into a multi-purpose community room. Renovation committee shall report to the government oversight chair, who shall be accountable to council. All renovation proposals, plans, and activities shall be vetted by the government oversight chair and receive prior approval by council. Committee requests for funding shall be brought before council for approval. Appropriation shall be made from the general government buildings and plant category of municipal budget. The renovation committee shall expire on July 1st of 26. So those are conditions on this committee.
I can work with them on that.
You can work on it.
Yeah, it's just a resolution saying that we're going to make a committee to do it, so.
Can we add that nomination to someone to be? Because we kind of let someone talk about it and we were all for it. I mean, if Kathy's
We
interested.
would do another motion to appoint, right? After we, I'm saying there's another thing that happens after this. We're just saying that we're going to do
This
this.
is creating the committee
Yeah, that's
for
it.
the purpose
Yeah.
of renovating this.
Yep, that's
Those
it.
are the 4 restrictions I put in place.
Yep.
Okay.
Seems pretty straightforward.
Okay, we got Jason motion.
Second.
Brian seconded. Okay. The motion to create the committee is approved. Okay. Next, motion to renew membership 2026 in the Beaver County Regional Council of Governments at a cost of $477.67. Budget appropriation come from the dues, subscriptions, and memberships section of the legislative body.
That's something we have to do, right?
We don't have to be a member of COG. This is.
Oh, that's COG.
Yeah, this is COG, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this is council, okay, so if you heard what they said, our consultants, the benefits of COG, right? we did not feel it was necessary for a while. I just talked to the executive director of COG for a long time, did a little research. I think it's a beneficial thing. $477.
Yearly?
So a motion to approve this.
Is it yearly?
Yeah, it's yearly.
And we have that in the budget already, or did we have that in?
There's enough, yeah, under, you wanna see the budget line?
I just want to make sure that we factored that in, that's all.
There's enough.
We're at.
Because it says renewed, this is just a renewal, right?
Yeah,
No,
but
we did away with them a while back.
Well, they sent, so I was confused, because they sent something that was a renewal, probably based on our prior membership.
does someone have to head this and to actually get benefit from it though?
Well, it's one of those things that you get out of it what you put into it. If you use them, there's benefit to it.
Yeah, do we have a plan to use it? Yes.
Yes, absolutely. We're gonna develop a plan to use it. So the motion on the table is to approve this appropriations for the membership card.
So there is a motion?
Yeah, I don't know enough about it to make a motion, like.
And do we wanna, what they presented, to actually dive a little deeper into? Like, I mean, how are we gonna use it, like you said, maybe talk about it, or.
I know they sometimes, I think they used to help us save money on
Certain
salt.
purchases, salt, yeah, I remember that.
But I don't remember what else they did.
Across the
Okay,
board.
let's look into it a little more, everyone, get more information before you
Yeah,
make
that's
a
what I would
decision.
say.
Okay, so you see
Bring the
how,
benefits.
you see how the benefit of having this stuff put out to council ahead of time is that so it gets read, and you look up the COG website and you find out, right? I know you do, right? So it just shows that we all have a responsibility to engage this process more, right? To engage it so we're not sitting here tabling everything because it's all clueless to us, right? This is what happened in the past, and you all agreed, and I think I'm speaking correctly, you all agreed that that was such a burden on this system. With council members showing up here saying, what are we doing? What's this? I haven't read this. Can we change the way we do this?
Yeah, and that's why we did the workshop session, but we canceled it last week because of the organizational meeting, so I don't think a lot of people had time to review some of the stuff, and.
So this has been out in the memo, this has been out in the Monday memo. Jenna actually sent out the COG membership. Did you send that to everybody? Okay.
Yes.
So, look, guys, we need to step up our game here, right? Yeah, because,
I also agree, but I also don't agree that we should renew a membership that we pulled out from because we didn't get the value out of it if we don't have a plan to get value out of that membership.
well, who says we didn't get value out of it?
The past council.
Decided.
Past council is what I'm saying.
Yeah, if you listen to what people say.
But if that resolution had something to the statement of, we're going to appoint someone to go to the meetings that they have, because I believe they have meetings, if I recall correctly, monthly. So someone has to go to that and say who's going to be responsible, and we're appointing someone to do that, and we're holding them accountable. I'm totally good with
I
that.
will go. I'm the president of the council, so I will go.
Okay.
And I'm throwing my hat in the ring to be the chair, oversight chair of governance. I will go, right?
Sure,
And
let's
you're
put it.
welcome to come with me, we'll ride together.
Yeah, sure,
right?
sure.
Okay.
But I'd like to see that plan. You know what I mean? That's all.
We can have a membership before we go.
You see
I mean, I think this is unnecessary.
I'm good for that.
That's good.
Certainly.
It's not some fly by night thing, it's just creative.
I don't want anyone to take.
I'm just going based off of the information that the past council members have said in the past. And I would just like to see, a plan. And
Maybe we didn't get.
Nobody wants to do this.
that's what I'm saying. So as council, hey, we're going to renew this with the intention of appointing someone to go to these meetings, and they're gonna report back with a monthly report. That's what that resolution is.
You want me to add that language right there?
100%.
Put my name in it? Okay, yeah.
When I can get money
This is something.
It's actually good for.
It's just the accountability of it. If no one's gonna go to that meeting and council's not gonna hold that person accountable, then we shouldn't renew that. is what I'm trying to.
Is that the, yeah, that's.
Not trying to be difficult. I'm not trying to be
A lot of things missing.
Yeah.
Did anyone else read any of that stuff that you said? I'm probably the only one at this table that.
You know what, I was on vacation for 2 weeks.
Farkas will be the responsible.
No, that's mine.
Okay.
Show me the app and then I'll.
The
Okay.
incestuous relationship.
Sure. You buy stuff.
That's a good, that's good.
Yeah.
Take a picture of that one. Take another one.
And make, you get a lot of regular information.
I'm all, listen, I'm all for it. I just don't like wasting stuff. That's all.
Council President Farkas will be the borough representative to Collins and make regular reports to council.
She's sitting next to you.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Okay, guys, we amended this motion, we amended the motion with Justin's concerns. So it now reads that we will appropriate this money. Council President Farkas will be the borough representative to COG and make regular reports to council.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, we're cooking now.
So am I filling this out and sending it back? The COG membership. Perfect.
Okay, motion to consider the West Mayfield Volunteer Fire Department parking lot proposal. I think
You said you were gonna table that.
To have a discussion.
Please make sure that you have, if you don't have this. Joe, would you look at this?
I have it.
You have
he's
it.
going to look over.
I would not.
I handled it. Joe's
My
Joe's going to
personal
look over all of it.
Okay, Joe's gonna look over the lot agreement part of it.
Hey, there's no question on that, because I'm familiar with that building. The small parking lot in front is all part of the fire department's ownership, but the rear parking lot is ours.
Yes. Borough's property,
Yes,
yeah.
yeah, Nora?
Yeah, I got on the Beaver County site to look at all fire departments that are on there now, and it had updated 2026. West Mayfield is no longer on there.
Yeah, I
I
don't think they're a fire department.
They're not a fire
Yeah.
No,
department.
their
but
entity
she's
is
over.
just still named
They're just
that.
still using the same
Yeah,
name.
they're still using the same name.
They're
They're not
not
a fire
even using
department.
rehab, but they don't even list them as a rehab.
Okay, so we will table this. There's Bob Cobb, I know, wants to chime in for stuff. He has questions about insurance. So we'll take this up at the workshop.
Workshop, yep.
And then we could, if we formulate something out of that, we'll take that up in terms of business.
Yeah, I got some, okay.
Okay? Alrighty, so, payment of bills, are we done with the business?
Yeah.
Okay, so payment of bills and ratification of purchases made by committees. Do we have any bills and purchases by committees?
Always.
Always? Okay.
Do you want a list?
But they're borough.
Like at meetings?
Are they within our scope, our specs?
Yeah, it's always the same. I mean, it's the same things.
Okay, so we'll need a motion to pay the bills.
Make a motion.
Then we're controlling that.
Okay.
Pay the
That
bills.
is way down.
Passes. Any good and welfare? Anybody? Okay.
We had is that like we had a nice Christmas party down at the school. It was a lower turnout because it was a very bad snow day. And the roads got icy and everything. But everything went off really nice. All the kids got gifts.
The volunteers down there too, that was.
The volunteers, all these ladies, everybody did a great job. The fire truck, we were told by the fire department that they give out 275 bags. And we didn't believe that, so we went with 200 and we gave away 100.
Yes, that
So
what we
they
did.
just did this to
We
to
spent
spite
more money.
us.
Well, I think for now on too, when we have extra candy, maybe donate it to, like the bags, donate them to a nursing home or something.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
My school will also take them.
Okay, well, Gerald took a bunch of them over to Colonial Oaks and they passed them out from the office there.
Don't you dare.
But yeah, all these ladies came together and who else was there?
So did you guys. We had so much help. We set up in 1 hour.
Yeah.
I mean, we
There was
just.
a bunch of people there.
We went out,
Down in less
Thanks,
than
John.
that.
It was nice.
Tina and I, we went out to Sam's Club and Aldi's. We got Oh, we got candy, we got a small toy, we got an apple, an orange, there was gummies, potato chips. We had a very nice bag instead of
They
the
were great.
usual, a bag full of
And you
candy.
didn't spend $5.
I said, you know what, this isn't Halloween, we're gonna do something nice, and they put them together really nice, and it cost us it's on that at $448 or something like
I
that.
gave you to fill out.
Yeah, I do. I enjoy that.
I'd like to recommend for the culture and recreation folks who are interested, at our work
You
session,
need two.
that we talk about
Took one away.
getting thank yous to everybody who
Okay.
needs to be thank you
My name wasn't there.
Yeah.
for the Christmas party. And I think that was a.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That was a
That's
wonderful
okay.
Go to
story.
fill out two.
Okay.
Did that
We'll
happen?
fix the date.
Oh, yeah.
Did thank you notes happen?
Let's talk about that at the work session.
What?
Forget about
So
that.
thank you,
Kozak
Nicholas Plans.
Kozak donated that again, right?
Yeah, but he said talk about something at the work session.
Well, the thank you notes. Did you
Okay.
send out thank you notes?
Yeah,
Okay.
okay, and then what
Did
else?
Kozak pay for that again?
Yes, and I was at his office.
Can we get him a gift card?
Why are we doing that? He writes that off. It's part of his office.
Whatever.
Why are, I don't know, we're paying this, we must
There's
just pay for the
some-
room.
Is there any more good welfare?
Signature official. Is that right?
I
That's
just wanna,
you.
you know, we're talking about the Christmas
And then
party.
your
I think
office,
we
your
need to set dates for
councilman,
everything we're gonna have
let
this
me
year,
know
so we
councilman.
have a
That's
calendar
you.
with events on
And
it.
you'll do the
Work
rest.
session, we have a section at the work session for culture and rec. Great time to talk about the calendar
I'm
for
not
activities. Come on, you gotta come.
Kind of made me mad.
Okay, seeing that we checked off everything on
You,
our
I gave it to
agenda,
you because I swore you in, so
we
fill
stand
out the
adjourned.
talk.
Wait, no, he's already in.
I still have 2 years
Yeah.
left.
You still, I swore you in. I have to have that
2 years
When
ago.
was
our
that?
record.
2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Okay, so fill this
Right.
out.
Yeah, just don't do it.
On January, I'll give you the date.
Let me repeat.
got voted in.
We've covered everything on our agenda. We stand adjourned.
Okay.
Okay.